The dragon roars in pure fury at this human's audacity, but our boy locks eyes with the beast. Fed up with running, his soul is driven by one mission: finding his precious slime companion, Pyron. Armed with a pathetic wooden stick, he lunges. The dragon, playing the ultimate drama queen, prepares a devastating final strike. Just as the boy whispers an apology to his friend, bam, a blinding pillar of light erupts. We slip into a flashback of him and Pyron, just two best buds, not a single care, making a sacred pact to stay together. But dark family drama is brewing, leaving the kid heartbroken, desperately clinging to his only true friend. He's forced to abandon Pyron on a desolate road, sobbing as he leaves the little guy behind. He jolts awake in class, wondering if that epic dragon and flashback combo was just a dream. He's totally lost as the class stares him down. Right on cue, the local menaces arrive. They start throwing shade, calling him absolute trash before getting straight to their dirty business. The ringleader Kasai corners Tashi, getting way too close for comfort with a murderous glint. With a fake friendly smirk, he explains, F ranks better than of deliver on their paid requests, or else. He's already vibing with a punishment, sparks of crackling lightning dancing between his fingertips. Tashi's about to get a free trial of electroshock therapy. Kasai winds up a punch, shouting insults. Stop. A girl named Karen halts the assault, reminding him magic is banned. She's ready to snitch. Kasai claims it's just fair punishment. His lackeys start spilling tea about some guy who confessed to her. Kasai snaps. He demands to know if they're dating, threatening to end them both. Totally normal behavior. He tries to flex his C-rank status, but she's a D-rank who couldn't care less. He slams his fists onto the desk just as the teacher strolls in, ending the circus. The teacher's arrival immediately kills the vibe. Kasai shoots one final count your days look. Tashi finally exhales relieved. The teacher calls for attention, ready to dive into the lecture. Completely oblivious to the near murder, he starts a history lesson, tossing out a riddle nobody can solve. Time for the lore. Decades ago, mysterious dungeons manifested, flipping the entire world upside down. The goal: conquer the depths and rank up. The teacher calls this grand journey their destiny. Or maybe it's just a curse. Tashi's trying to listen when a sudden memory hits him. A mysterious blonde girl appears in his mind, smiling. That's when the realization finally clicks. He's heard those words before. Meanwhile, the teacher keeps preaching about their elite academy status. Some genius student asks why they don't just clear a double S-rank dungeon for instant levels. Tashi's eyes go wide at the mention of double S-rank. The rest of the class is totally hype. The teacher just gives them a dead-eyed stare, wondering if these kids have actually lost it. He pulls up a visual aid, a terrifying portrait of some seriously massive and bloodthirsty dragons. This, he explains, is a hellish top-tier dungeon that has never been conquered by anyone. Countless elite hunters have perished there, failing to even breach the entrance. The students feel insulted. They claim it would be light work, so the A-rank teacher asks if anyone has actually entered. Suddenly, a hand shoots up. Tashi remembers his past as the entire class spins around. With his hand raised, our boy asks if his own personal experience actually counts. Karen is absolutely floored, while Kasai the bully just stares in pure burning disbelief. He's fuming that an F-rank trash like Tashi has the guts to speak up. The teacher mocks him, asking about a mommy-led field trip. The class erupts, calling him delusional. They think he's just clout chasing since he has zero proof. Driven to the edge, Tashi slams the desk. He desperately shouts the truth, insisting to the whole room that he survived an S-rank dungeon. A blonde girl named Kazuki watches with concern while the class judges him in cold silence. Tashi, the bold F-rank, is now a target. Kasai is stewing absolutely livid after that disaster. Back outside, a flicker of memory returns a happy time with his little slime buddy Pyron. We find Tashi isolated on a park bench, his mind consumed by thoughts of his vanished friend. The source of this entire chaos. Suddenly, Akazuki arrives, questioning why he is sulking in solitude. She notices his bizarre behavior, pressing for answers. Tashi confesses that painful childhood echoes are resurfacing, linking back to his earlier classroom meltdown. Suddenly, Kasai and his thugs crash their private moment. Back for round 2, the bully glares at Akazuki, clearly annoyed. A lackey invades their personal space, demanding to know his business with her. Pure intimidation. Then Kasai produces a recording camera. He issues a challenge: infiltrate the S-rank dungeon for evidence. Akazuki threatens to report them to teachers. But Tashi interjects. He will conquer a double S-rank dungeon if Kasai leaves her alone forever. She is stunned, but our hero insists he owes her for countless past rescues. Besides, he has personal business there. Masking his fear, he tells her everything will be fine. Kasai smirks at the desperate gamble. If Tashi fails, he becomes Kasai's personal slave for life. A twisted, sickening ultimatum. With the deal sealed, the sun finally dips below the horizon. Tashi is already pedaling toward his potential grave, navigating a desolate, shadowed forest trail. Heading straight for the abyss, his white-knuckled grip on the bars signals he will not waver. He arrives at a towering cliffside cave. Looking up, he knows this is the ultimate destination. He bypasses the warning signs without a second thought. Inside, damp darkness and strange puddles await. He activates the camera's flash, calling for Purin while the light cuts through the heavy gloom. He pushes deeper into the void, shouting for his lost companion. A sudden noise triggers his heartbeat. It is not a slime, but a strange pink-horned creature. He sits, asking if it is lonely too. Fearing for Purin, he watches a glowing butterfly flutter past, softening the dungeon's lethal atmosphere. Tashi recalls being paralyzed by terror here as a child. It felt like a total death trap. Now it feels strangely tranquil. He wonders if his memories lied, hoping Purin is safe. Suddenly, massive predatory eyes ignite behind him. A monster looms, labeling him a pathetic, frail human. Declaring him boring, the beast flings Tashi across the cavern floor with an unseen crushing force. He is hurled like a rag doll at 100 miles per hour before crashing violently. While grounded, a shadow lunges. He barely blinks before being launched into the air again. Spiraling upward, he lands in a clearing as malevolent purple energy saturates the entire atmosphere. The source reveals itself. A colossal dragon wreathed in violet flames mocks his pathetic resistance. Realizing he is facing a true dragon, Tashi watches as the beast circles overhead. It laughs at his audacity, then spots the camera mocking his futile attempt at obtaining proof. A massive talon crushes the ground near his feet, the dragon continuing its arrogant monologue. With one heavy step, it pulverizes the camera. Tashi falls to his knees, completely paralyzed. His only hope is shattered. The dragon sneers, calling him garbage as Tashi's spirit breaks. He is cornered and broken. A flashback triggers bullies mocking him as worthless F-rank trash. But now, Tashi grips a simple branch, finally shouting his name with newfound defiance. The dragon is genuinely stunned by this spark of courage. Tashi points the stick, declaring war. The beast finds this hilarious, roaring with laughter, while Tashi glares with absolute resolve. He vows to stop running. He will not leave until Purin is back by his side. He charges a skyscraper-sized dragon with nothing but a twig. The monster remains totally unimpressed. Tashi is swatted away like a fly, slamming into the dirt in a broken heap. The dragon calls him a fool, a correct assessment. To end it, the beast prepares incineration. Facing a massive fireball, Tashi whispers an apology to Purin. Then a celestial pillar descends. Light explodes from the heavens. Stunned, Tashi shields his eyes from this sudden divine intervention. An angelic silhouette appears within the radiance. As the light fades, a schoolboy stands there. Before anyone can react, another blinding beam of energy strikes from the clouds above. Blinding light forces Tashi to shield his eyes. Squinting, he tries to figure out who just crashed the party. Right in his death scene, the dragon faceplants KO'd by divine power, leaving Tashi absolutely stunned and confused. What just happened? A mysterious kid lands silently, like a total pro, and approaches the fallen beast. A tiny yellow slime emerges from its head. It looks seriously salty and ready to catch some hands. Tashi realizes it's his old friend Purun. Flashbacks trigger memories of his first trip and seeing slimes. Back then, they called it a trash E-rank monster. That entire childhood excursion was at a monster theme park. His mom shouts to hurry, the grand parade is starting. Hyped performers swarm around massive pumpkin and cake floats. They really blew the budget on this. Young Tashi is vibing with his parents when he spots a stunning princess atop a float. It's her, the mysterious blonde girl from his visions, waving gracefully at the massive crowd. This monster parade features a giant dragon float followed by the imposing and majestic King Buffalo. Accompanied by armored guards, the sight terrifies Tashi. He hides behind Mom, who claims they're just toys. Suddenly, the buffalo animatronic bellows a thunderous roar, scaring the living daylights out of the kid. Some dolls. He flees from the dragon, float totally, forgetting he thought it was cool seconds ago. Panicked, young Tashi sprints through the dense crowd at full speed looking for an escape. He slams into a tiny girl dressed as a witch. She immediately roasts him for running like a maniac. He stammers an apology while she's down. She just shoots him a seriously dude death glare. She's 0% impressed. The trip becomes a nightmare as his monster phobia triggers a blind run. Lost on a forest trail, he fumes with hatred. Kicking a stone, he questions his own courage. The rock rolls off, giving zero comfort. Suddenly, the chilling realization hits he is totally alone. Utterly lost, he screams for his parents as pure panic takes over. Then things get even worse. The sky darkens and rain pours down. He huddles in the bushes, trembling, isolated, and afraid. A tear falls as true dread sets in. Looking up, he's trapped at the foot of a towering cliff. Amidst the storm, he ducks into a dark cave for cover. A lucky find, or so he thinks. The rain turns into a deluge. Shaking, he peers out from the entrance, still on high alert. Despite his fear, the cavern hums with a strange, mystical energy. He stands frozen in the shadows. Absorbing the heavy darkness, young Tashi cautiously ventures deeper into the unknown heart of the cave. Tense, he spots a tiny yellow slime. Excitement briefly replaces fear. He's finally found a real monster. But lurking behind it is a massive bull with crimson eyes. His face screams, "I messed up." It is the real King Buffalo. No animatronic here. His survival instinct kicks in. It is time to run. He tries to sneak off, but the clueless slime purrs loudly, completely unaware of the looming danger. The slime blocks his only exit. He whispers an apology, confessing his own pathetic weakness to the creature. King Buffalo targets the slime for lunch. Seizing the moment, Tashi bolts deeper into the pitch-black tunnels. Trembling legs carry him forward by pure adrenaline. It is a miracle he has not collapsed from terror. A memory flashes a museum exhibit showcasing a model of this exact slime on a pedestal. The plaque described it as a timid, lonely E-rank monster. The description hits way too close to home. Back in reality, Tashi clenches his fist. Resolve ignites just as the beast prepares to strike. The buffalo lunges to swallow the slime. Suddenly, Tashi dives in, using his body as a shield. The baffled beast pauses, surprised by its new appetizer. Unexpectedly, the slime actually speaks to him. It asks why a weakling would risk everything. Tashi decides 2 cowards are better than 1. He grabs the slime and sprints for his life. That is the story of his miraculous cave escape. Escaping with Puron, Tashi cannot explain his bravery. He stood his ground against his greatest nightmare. He could not just abandon the little guy. Now the slime keeps repeating its own name over and over. Purun Tashi makes it official and names him. He vows they will form a contract and stay together. Their eternal bond is instantly ruined when his parents arrive and declare the whole thing totally illegal. Besides, he's far too young for a contract. The decision's final dump that slime back in the woods, kid. His parents watch him leave, chalking it up to a tough life lesson. Now Taishi faces the soul-crushing task of telling Purun. Choking back tears, he breaks his vow. He abandons the little creature on the damp forest floor amidst the pouring rain. He leaves a crust of bread as a pitiful goodbye gift. But Purun, pure-hearted as ever, just beams at the unexpected treat. Taishi sobs another apology, cursing his own helplessness. Yet, Purun shows zero resentment toward his friend. That innocent, happy smile completely shatters Taishi's heart. Through heavy sobs, he vows to one day become truly powerful. He'll return for him. That final radiant smile haunts Taishi as he walks away, abandoning his very first companion. That memory of leaving Purun alone at the cavern mouth burned into his mind. A cave he'd later realize was a deadly S-rank dungeon. Not exactly a playground for a kid. For 6 grueling years, he remained a weakling, bullied, and unable to fulfill his word. But Purun transformed, evolving into a literal dragon during those years. Back in the now, relief washes over Taishi like a tide. He finally embraces his long-lost friend. Drowning in guilt, he begs forgiveness for taking so many years to return. Purun doesn't mind the wait, happily chirping its name as if they'd never been apart. Then Taishi eyes the unconscious dragon, finally connecting the dots. The realization hits him like a freight train. His tiny slime buddy became a powerhouse while he stayed a total loser. The creature just gives him an affectionate nuzzle. Ignoring the massive power difference, it bounces onto his shoulder. Taishi wonders if it's actually attempting a contract. He delivers the grim news again. He still lacks the strength to bind them. But Purun just lets out a determined cry. Suddenly, Taishi erupts in a blinding glow. His hair shimmers orange as a system interface flickers into existence before his eyes. He's frozen in shock, staring at the luminous orange holographic screen that manifested out of nowhere. It's a contract offer to inherit Purun's god-tier abilities. Taishi's brain stalls while processing the insane offer. He mumbles about the insane proposal while levitating as the system prepares the final synchronization. The prompt lingers there, demanding a simple yes or no. Taishi can only stare at the choice of a lifetime. He's about to receive a legendary power-up from a slime. Purun hovers there, looking way too smug for a literal blob. Taishi looks back, dazed by the sheer absurdity, but a determined smirk starts to play on his lips. No hesitation. He slams the yes button, and the world vanishes within a massive pillar of shimmering gold light. Taishi screams as raw energy surges through him. Finally, his boots hit the dirt as the chaos subsides. As the radiance fades, he feels exactly the same. He frantically checks his body, searching for any sign of change. Not a single thing feels different. Then a crushing realization slams into him like a physical blow. He recalls his teacher's warning: contracting higher-ranked monsters is impossible. It must have failed, he sighs. All because he's still just a powerless nobody. But Purun just hops back onto his head unfazed. Taichi starts apologizing again. He's certain the contract flopped, but Purun has other ideas, wrapping itself around Taishi's eyes like a gooey, high-tech visor. The surprise sends Taishi sprawling onto his backside. He looks up to find the slime has actually divided itself. He gasps, asking what just happened. Suddenly, his vision begins to perceive the world through a whole new lens. A system display flickers into his sight, revealing Purun's complete status window. Taishi's jaw hits the floor. His slime is level 777 and triple S rank. Through his new slime-enhanced vision, everything looks different. He scans the dragon's stats, a solid, level 246. This proves Purun is on a completely different level of power. It's a mind-blowing revelation. Meanwhile, Purin is literally drooling, staring at the fallen dragon with predatory intent. Taishi realizes the truth. His little buddy wants to devour the giant lizard. He's heard of monster meat, but this, carrying a whole dragon home for dinner, is a bit much. Then he spots a skill called Transcendent Storage on the list. He wonders if he can activate it. He tells Purin to store the carcass, and the slime simply gulps it down whole. The process sends Taishi floating briefly. Just like that, the massive beast vanishes, leaving him absolutely speechless. He cheers for this epic victory, hoisting his broken slime companion high. Now that they're reunited, he makes a choice. They have an eternity to catch up. He asks if it remembers the bread, confessing he never stopped thinking of him. As they trek home, reminiscing about that old snack, Purin suddenly freezes on Taishi's shoulder. Detecting a massive threat, a colossal spider monster slams down instantly, shattering the peaceful atmosphere. The creature is a nightmare of fangs and crimson eyes. It looms over them as Taishi is knocked to the ground. Stunned by the sneak attack, our hero rises. His gaze ignites as he triggers his newfound divine ocular ability. Analyzing the Spider Queen, he spots a captive within its thorax. Suddenly, Purin transforms into a soft safety buffer. Grabbing Tashi midair before a lethal leg skewers him, our slime companion dodges the blow with lightning speed. Evading every thrust, the beast changes gears. It blasts a menacing violet ray that erupts right beside them. Definitely toxic. This corrosive sludge is powerful enough to dissolve the solid stone floor instantly. Tashi scrambles to find a counter strategy. The reality of its fatal venom starts sinking in. Its range is massive and speed insane. Yet Purin bounces back for round 2, oozing pure confidence. He rockets toward the spider's visage like a gilded projectile. Meanwhile, Tashi shouts the obvious play. Aim for the cranium. The monster merely smirks, clearly unimpressed by such a cliché tactic. Its jaws unhinge, spraying a mass of corrosive slime. It nails Purin, directly drenching him in violet filth. For a moment, victory seems lost as his eyes swirl. The Spider Queen glows with arrogant satisfaction. She celebrates early until a radiant golden surge erupts. This counterattack cleaves through her reinforced exoskeleton. Caught off guard, she watches Tashi's hair flare orange as Purin manifests into a lethal forearm blade. The truth hits home. The pact was a success. The Spider Queen admits she finally respects his power. Way too late. Tashi prepares the finishing blow, ending the skirmish. As the dust settles, he stands silent. Relishing the triumph, he praises Purin's flawless performance. It's finally time to retreat and rest. They cycle through desolate alleys, Purin vibing in the basket. The journey home feels strangely serene. Arriving at his doorstep, he beams with pride. This is my crib. He's hyped to show Purin around. Then sheer terror washes over him. His apartment is a literal dumpster fire, and he totally forgot. Panic mode activated. He frantically tidies up while Purin watches. His desk is buried under slime research. He's been doing his homework. Purin doesn't care about the clutter. He's just glad to be home. The slime's gaze fixates on a shelf, a modest shrine featuring photographs of Tashi's kin. Tashi solemnly ignites incense, honoring his late parents. He softly reveals the tragedy of their passing. Living solo was tough, but he rallies, proclaiming Purin as his new family. Then, right on schedule, a loud rumble echoes. Hungry little guy Tashi raids the kitchen, praying the fridge isn't empty. It's a culinary graveyard, just mayo and 2 eggs. His bank account is officially zeroed out. As starvation looms, Purin bounces forward, looking like he's got an absolute triple S-tier plan. He transforms into a miniature golden dragon. Tashi's brain sparks. Could he shift back into that black dragon? He recalls Purin devouring that titan in one gulp. Tashi is stunned, reminiscing about that overwhelming might. Then it hits him. Monster steak is a delicacy, and they have a 5-star feast banked away. He asks Purin to manifest the dragon meat. He prepares to chant the command release storage. Wait, he suddenly imagines his small room getting crushed by a mountain-sized dragon carcass. Pure nightmare. Freaking out, he begs for just one portion, not the entire beast. Suddenly, his wish is granted. A premium slab of dragon tail drops. Tashi looks doubtful, but Purin seems certain it's elite takeout. Man up, Tashi. He hits the kitchen for his first dragon cooking session. Grill it or steam it. Major chef problems. He swings his knife with conviction, but the blade shatters against the impenetrable scales. Bad omen. Tashi stands stunned, clutching a broken handle as the harsh reality finally sets in. You can't fillet a triple S-rank beast with a cheap blade. How did this slime one-shot that? Purin wiggles with determination. Defeated, Tashi sighs and asks his companion to handle the prep work. Minutes later, a miracle happens. Purin has plated a gourmet multi-course dragon feast for them both. Tashi says grace and gives the green light. The little slime is literally buzzing with anticipation. He eyes the prize, then lashes out with tentacles, snatching the entire table's worth of food. Everything disappears in one monstrous swallow. Tashi freaks. The greedy little guy even ate the ceramic plates. The slime looks stuffed but totally unbothered. Tashi is baffled. Is he seriously still craving more? Sighing, he offers a second serving and heads back to the stove. He whips up a literal mountain of food, only for it to be inhaled in a blink. Our boy is officially at his wit's end. He gasps, asking if that bottomless pit is still starving. Fine, then he's going all in this time. He vows to cook a truly ridiculous banquet. Presenting a radiant mountain of delicacies, he prays this finally satisfies the beast. Hours tick by, and his desperate wails likely echo through the streets. That tiny slime is an absolute gluttonous machine. As dawn breaks, Tashi's wallet starts crying over the food costs, but he knows every cent was worth it. Just to have Purin back. It feels like a surreal dream. Finally, he's found a real family again. He whispers a solemn vow to his squishy companion they'll find happiness together. But then, cold reality crashes the party. School's in session. A flash of a smug blonde face and a jagged threat hits him, freezing his blood cold. Memories of being the school's punching bag flood back. He can't bear for Purin to see him looking so pathetic. He tries to sneak off alone, but Purin isn't playing. Asterisk pop times. The slime hitches a ride right on his shoulder. He bribes Purin with dragon meat to stay put, but the little guy answers with pure, unadulterated slime fury. Tashi pleads for logic, but Purin won't budge. Instead, the slime prepares to deploy its most lethal tactical weapon, the waterworks. The instant guilt trip is super effective. Tashi surrenders and they head to school as a duo. One guy and his illegal slime companion. Tashi hits the campus desperately, trying to look invisible while whispering to his pack, "Stay low until home." Suddenly, a rough hand yanks him back. It's the blonde bully and his entire squad. Time to pay up, they sneer before Tashi is violently slammed against the cold wall. It's that jerk, Shouta. Shouta's pack surrounds him like wolves, grinning about how long they've waited. Then comes the sarcastic venom. "Did you enjoy your little double S rank field trip?" Tashi just kneels, stunned that they'd ambush him for this. Surprisingly, he plays it cool. "Yeah, I had a blast thanks to you." Damn, the kid actually has a backbone. He stares Shouta dead in the eyes with a mocking thanks. The goons bristle, warning him not to get lippy. Finally, the mask drops. They want the dungeon footage. Tashi stands there, frozen, as the realization hits him. He's trapped. Suddenly, a terrifying image of a massive dragon foot stomping down flashes across his mind's eye. It crushed the expensive camera into dust. The realization hits like a truck. He completely forgot about the gear. His mind screams, "I'm broke," on repeat. Shouta, thinking he's being ghosted, snaps and loses his damn mind. Shouta's fist glows with mana as he lunges, but a tiny blue guardian leaps from the shadows of Tashi's shoulder. Shouta stops dead, looking totally bewildered. Wait, is that just a pathetic slime? Are you serious? The goons think Tashi's mocking them. Shouta's ego is bruising fast. He's convinced this is one big, insulting joke. Purin is radiating some massive wrong house energy. As Shouta's attack flies forward, our little slime is ready. It's time to throw down. A shockwave blasts the goons backward, leaving them wondering when their boss leveled up. Tashi just scoffs at the idiots. That clearly wasn't Shouta's power. With a fuming Purin perched on his shoulder, he declares the power as his own. Shouta is floored, his jaw dropping as he stammers Tashi's name in shock. As the crew scrambles to their leader, Shouta just stares blankly. His eyes are filled with pure, unfiltered terror. The shock is total. In Shouta's warped vision, Tashi now looms like an unstoppable titan. But the goons? They charge again, screaming weakling at the top of their lungs. Tashi takes one calm, deliberate step forward. He casually deflects a punch before seizing both their heads. "I'm talking to your boss right now. Stay out of it." He gives them a choice, shut up or meet your maker. Instantly, the two cronies are eating dirt on the pavement. Threat neutralized. The commotion starts drawing a massive crowd, including a mysterious blonde girl watching from the sidelines. She wonders why there's such intense drama this early. The courtyard sees it all, one survivor standing over three fallen bullies. Looking down at the wreckage, Tashi finally tastes the power. He stares at his hands, feeling the strength coursing through. As he processes this godlike strength, a sinister smirk creeps onto his face. He finally gets why they loved bullying, the sweet high of superiority. Shouta can only tremble on his knees, utterly helpless against his former victim. Radiating peak main character energy, Tashi demands an apology. Now he sneers, "Beg for your pathetic life." Total savage. But Shouta won't grovel. His rage explodes as his hand crackles with mana seizing Tashi's wrist. Shouta lunges for a final strike, screaming about Tashi's arrogance. Our boy just smirks. Now this is fun. Suddenly, the blonde girl zips in to stop Tashi's villain arc, placing a firm hand on his chest to halt the chaos. Our protagonist stands paralyzed, his mind reeling from the sudden turn. In that split second of doubt, a brutal gash opens on her arm. That's the breaking point for Pyron, who rockets forward like a lethal projectile. The slime completely swallows Shouta in a viscous slam. Game over. The entire gang of thugs is instantly neutralized. Shouta feebly reaches out, rasping Akazuki's name. The girl drops to her knees, begging Tashi to resist becoming the monster. She insists his heart is pure, even as blood drips from her fresh injury. Her voice shatters his bloodlust and he gazes down in sheer terror. Around him, the chilling judgment of his peers weighs heavy. Facing the demon in the mirror, he realizes with a shudder that he actually relished the carnage. He mutters an apology, urging her toward the clinic, but she refuses. Meanwhile, a grounded Chowda continues his pathetic barking. He acts like a menace, but Tashi simply discards the trash, disappearing into the cold downpour. A single word escapes his lips: seal. Radiant chains erupt, binding Chowda in an inescapable, paralyzing grip. His supernatural strength vanishes instantly, leaving him trembling. His lackeys stand frozen, unable to process their leader's fall. Confused whispers fill the air until Tashi's cold voice rings out. The bully's power is gone forever. Exuding a murderous pressure, he issues one final challenge: find him to reclaim their strength. The thugs can only stare in silent awe. The hunter has become the prey. As Tashi vanishes, only Chowda's desperate wails echo through the raging tempest. Akazuki notices his tattered clothes, but he brushes it off. Clothes are the least of his concerns now. His journey here ends today. He's quitting school for good. With a final nod of gratitude, he walks away forever. Days drift by until a bright morning finds our hero back at the academy, this time in the administrative office. He's officially cutting ties. The staff looks worried, but Tashi's resolve is ironclad and unshakable. Rumors spread like wildfire, pinning the blame on the bullies. Deep in the classroom, the fallen kings sit in silence, utterly defeated. Chowda white-knuckles his desk, drowning in a sea of helpless, bitter resentment. He's still seething in his seat, haunted by his own weakness. Across campus, Tashi takes one last stroll through his old life and spots a familiar silhouette. It's Akazuki, his unexpected guardian. He immediately checks her wound, but she reassures him it's healed. Guilt still gnaws at his soul, prompting another apology. She just flashes a warm smile, telling him to let the past go. She questions his presence, mentioning the papers. He shrugs, noting how eager the school was to see him leave. Akazuki begs him to reconsider her eyes, searching for a reason for him to stay. But he knows the truth. His awakening makes him a ticking time bomb. Staying would be a selfish gamble. To master this chaos, he must become a true ranker. She fears he'll be isolated, but his loyal slime is already on guard. She realizes then that the little blob is his entire world. Meanwhile, Pyron looks predictably annoyed. Choosing to believe in him, she offers her full support for his new path. Tashi bows in thanks, swearing to return the favor when the time is right. She gives a playful smirk before demanding his digits. Naturally, he complies, feeling the shift in their dynamic. She tells him she's just a phone call away, then disappears with a wave and a promise of reunion. Seconds later, his pocket vibrates. It's her reminding him that a debt to her is never truly paid. Our hero is completely flustered. Then she drops a tactical nuke she knew about his SS rank dungeon raid from the start. Tashi's heart stops. How? It turns out Akazuki isn't just a student, she's the heiress to a global empire. A top-tier model and a corporate titan. She's light years beyond his reach. He always saw her as the untouchable queen, but maybe their realities are more intertwined than he thought. Pyron, ever the observer, just watches the drama unfold. From the back of a luxury limo, Akazuki dials a private number. She checks in on her mother, hearing that the situation is stable. The voice on the line offers a glimmer of hope, and she absorbs it all with a stoic silence, before masking her pain with a confident front. She chooses to believe. Back on the neon-lit streets, Tashi tells Pyron they need a master plan. Without school, a dead-end part-time gig isn't going to pay the bills. First mission on the list: checking if his partner is starving. Priorities are everything. With his remaining pocket change, he decides to splurge on a high-end feast for his slime. They step into an upscale sushi bar, greeted by the chef's sharp gaze. Tashi requests a massive table for two, swearing his slime has a bottomless stomach, and soon after, the chef posts a sold-out sign outside, completely drained of ingredients because they devoured every single scrap. Strolling away, Tashi is thrilled his buddy is stuffed until he checks his current balance. Seeing he is completely broke, he tells Puron it is time they start making some serious bank. His gaze ignites with fierce resolve. His only path forward is the association, so he sprints toward the building. Inside, the eerie silence of the empty hall shocks him as he creeps toward the information desk. Our protagonist awkwardly greets the receptionist, a laid-back bald guy, while the entire lobby remains hauntingly quiet. The vibe gets weird when the man offers help. He looks friendly, but Tashi is skeptical. He resembles a legendary guardian more than staff, especially when he cracks his knuckles with lethal intent. The guy shrugs it off as swatting a bug, a total lie, while shooting Tashi a piercing, suspicious glare. When asked his business, Tashi stammers that he is selling loot, while Puron looks totally unimpressed. Mentioning the black market triggers a news alert about robberies, explaining that law enforcement is hunting criminals. Officials are hunting low ranks, peddling high-tier loot. Tashi instantly realizes he is basically the prime suspect. He is cooked. The receptionist towers over him, demanding his business, as Tashi sweats under the intense pressure. Desperately scrambling for a backup plan, a bolt of inspiration hits him, sparking a genius new strategy. He slams his ID down, pivoting brilliantly by claiming he is actually there to volunteer for a quest. The man asks his rank and Tashi's F-rank confession earns him an immediate cold rejection. F ranks are strictly for charity, but Tashi knows community service won't pay for his and Purin's next meal. Risking it all, he demands a B rank mission or higher, leaving the receptionist completely floored. The guy is stunned, but Tashi just beams with confidence, certain they can crush any challenge. Unimpressed by the kid's audacity, the man mockingly asks if his legendary friend is the slime on his shoulder. Tashi proudly introduces Purin, declaring that together they are an invincible team. Purin swells with pride, looking like the most dangerous jelly on the entire block. The receptionist still scoffs at the madness, forcing Tashi to drop a heartbreaking, tragic origin story. Orphaned and broke, the mention of money seems to trigger something deep within the receptionist's head. Our boy maintains a deadly serious expression. Suddenly, the bald man claps his hands in epiphany. Like a religious awakening, he begins bawling over Tashi's incredibly tragic and noble struggle. He launches into a passionate rant about grit and supporting rankers in chasing their dreams. Wiping away a single manly tear, he dramatically slams the counter, announcing he has the perfect B-rank mission. It is a simple foraging mission for monograss requiring zero combat with monsters. The rewards are insane, 24,000 yen per piece. Tashi realizes this is a goldmine. One successful run could erase his debts for months, and the guy even hands over a safe zone map. Trusting the stranger, our boy is overwhelmed with gratitude toward this kind receptionist named Goichi. Goichi even shares his personal contact info. As they exit, Tashi feels like he finally caught a break. Goichi watches them leave, intrigued by the bizarre F-rank and slime duo. That marks the chapter's end. The next morning arrives, bathed in golden light and packed with both danger and opportunity. Tashi enters the B-rank dungeon ready for a payday, instantly checking his guide to the safe zones. Thanks to Goichi's map, he feels untouchable in this perilous new environment. With this cheat sheet, the quest should be effortless. He notices glowing flora, illuminating the dark path. These flowers react to magic, but he is hunting monograss, making his appraisal skill the ultimate weapon. He activates the skill, sweeping the area for loot until a piercing shriek echoes through the trees. Tashi spins around, searching for the source, only to see a figure plummeting from the canopy. Acting on instinct, he summons Purin, who rockets forward like a sentient, glowing yellow projectile. Purin expands into a 5-star safety cushion, though the landing ends up a bit suffocating. He rushes to investigate the mysterious tree climber, who thanks him for the clutch save. Her jaw drops as she realizes a dude just saved her. Our protagonist is more concerned about why she was dangling up there. She admits she bet her life on a lone magic stone, leaving Tashi completely speechless at her questionable logic. While monograss is the real prize, she plays it safe by hunting low-tier loot, just to avoid player drama. Tashi is low-key roasting her survival tactics in his head. To show gratitude, she hands over the mediocre rock. He shuts that down, revealing they're chasing the green stuff. She lights up instantly and points toward a hidden stash. He probes for quantity, praying for at least 10 measly stalks to justify the grind of this trip. She nonchalantly drops a bombshell. Hundreds of stalks are waiting. We are talking about a literal mountain of gold, a shimmering ocean of wealth. Our boy is shaking with pure greed, demanding she lead him there right now. The loot is buried in a mysterious, uncharted cavern. Sounds totally safe, right? Tashi doesn't care. He is ready to sprint. She backtracks, saying the grass is near the entrance. Entering the actual cave is basically a one-way trip to heaven. High-level monsters swarm inside, but he just hits her with a smirk, ignoring the whole certain death warning. He drags a reluctant Nitsan along for the chaos. No choice for her. They venture deep into the vibrant, sun-drenched layers of the dungeon, slicing through thick vines toward their golden target. Reaching the abyss, she is still pleading for his life. Tashi stays cold, signaling Purin that it is go time. Our favorite slime gears up, charging its ultimate skill before launching forward like a gilded projectile. It pierces the void, lighting up the eerie mouth of the cave. Suddenly, a horrific shriek rips through the air. Stone-faced Tashi commands Nitsan to stay close as they cross the threshold into the pitch-black unknown. One hero, one nervous wreck. She is already whining that this quest is too taxing for a hardcore homebody. Cue another high-pitched scream. They stumble upon the corpse of a C-rank beast just chilling on the floor. She trembles, wondering what predator could slay such a beast. The answer is coming for them very soon. A graveyard of monsters lies ahead. Tashi notes that Purin is lead-dogging them through this bloody trail of carnage. Right as the slime GPS navigates the earthquakes, the cavern roof starts raining debris down on their heads. A crimson eye flares in the dark. A B-rank stone golem peels itself out of the very rock. It is not looking for a hug. Tashi flings Nitsan back, questioning how his slime missed a giant walking boulder. A literal mountain on legs. He barks at Nitsan to hide while he cleans up this minor mess. She is losing it, screaming about his impending funeral. Tashi tunes her out and rushes the Titan head-on. No strategy, just pure adrenaline and vibes. He screams for Purin to step up to the plate. It is time for the duo to shine. The golem towers over him, radiating ancient power and pure malice. Suddenly, Puron yeets itself directly at the monster's face. Tashi gets drenched in gooey slime residue. The master plan actually works. The golem's head shatters instantly before the titan collapses into a massive, B-rank pile of gravel. A panicked Nitsan checks for injuries, but Tashi is just sticky. He praises his slime. Puron beams with pride. Meanwhile, Nitsan is having a total glitch, unable to believe they just one-shotted a golem. Tashi casually applauds her monster lore, weird flex, but okay. She begins to reveal the secrets behind her lifestyle. Blushing, she tears up, explaining that studying weaknesses is the only way a solo player survives. Tashi has zero attention span and is already geeking out over weeds with Puron. They simply walk away. Her sob story gets ghosted as they hunt grass. That is when she spots his stats. Level 777. Her mind snaps. She blames luck, but Tashi drops some shonen wisdom. It is the bond that makes them legendary. Peak inspiration, Nitsan starts fangirling, but Tashi shuts it down. Suddenly, Puron's vibe shifts to dead serious. He smells the loot. The duo sprints over the ridge to find the holy grail of treasures. A shimmering meadow of monograss. We are not talking hundreds, there are literally thousands of stalks here. Nitsan is basically doing money angels in the dirt, while Tashi stays focused, stuffing his bag with essentials. He says that is plenty breaking her brain again. I mean, who would ever walk away from a fortune? Who leaves a gold mine behind? Suddenly, Tashi starts acting like an environmentalist, worried about the dungeon's balance. He orders her to take only the minimum. No greed allowed. She just stares at him in disbelief. Totally starstruck by his noble aura, she praises his wisdom, while he just tries to keep them moving. Just as she's about to propose a duo, a massive boar monster erupts, charging her like a heat-seeking missile. Tusks bared and fueled by blind fury, the beast charges, forcing a desperate scream from Tashi's lungs. He reaches out to help, but the beast morphs into an orc boss, yet our guy stays cool, simply lifting one hand. Jagged rocks swirl with his magic as he tightens his grip, ready for a simple one-hit solution. The orc boss barely blinks before an unseen shockwave shatters its reality with a soul-shaking impact. A barrage of strikes hits its skull like a shotgun blast, sending the monster flying over the cliff's edge. Tossing it like a rag doll, Tashi catches his breath while realizing how close things came to disaster. Nitsan was moments from becoming a snack until Pyron intercepted, acting as a literal life-saving cushion. Dazed and clueless she was, just inside a monster's gullet. Our hero breathes a massive sigh of relief. Exhausted from the rescue, his gaze hardens, knowing she was seconds away from a gruesome end. She tries to crack a smile to kill the tension, joking that she's totally fine, well, at least for today. Then Tashi drops a heavy truth: he can't lose someone precious, leaving Nitsan completely paralyzed. Overwhelmed by the sudden emotion, she tackles him in a hug, swearing to guard his world forever. He immediately fumbles, insisting he didn't mean her specifically, finally putting the brush with death behind them. Time to collect that bag at the association, but the moment they enter, a voice calls out his name. It's just the lobby, yet Nitsan's social battery is already hitting zero as eyes turn toward them. A hulking bald clerk greets them at the desk, where Tashi begins laying out their massive win. He introduces his partner, while secretly labeling the clerk a beast, but the man demands the monocount. He's floored by the mountain of rare grass they've harvested, baffled by their impossible speed. He gambles that they hit the notorious B-rank cavern, a fact Tashi confirms with a casual nod. When asked about the Boar King, Tashi just smirks, offering to sell the monster's carcass for the right price. The clerk is reeling, but Nitsan is fuming that Tashi is selling off Pyron's hard-earned dinner. Since they conquered a high-tier dungeon, Nitsan hypes them up, while Tashi tries to act humble. He gives her a modest stop-it wave as his new friend celebrates their life-changing payday. Suspicion clouds the clerk's mind. How could a lowly F-ranker and a slime take down B-rank terrors? He watches them walk away, questioning their identity just as the deposit notification pings their phones. Their jaws drop at the total. It's a legendary payout, yet Tashi's only plan is rent and slime food. The clerk is moved by his modest goals, promising to keep them on speed dial for future jobs. As Nitsan victory dances down the hall, the clerk realizes he's found his new favorite gold mine. As the sun sets on their chaotic day, they step into the light, and Nitsan offers a heartfelt thanks. Tearing up, she explains how he's flipped her world, inspiring her to finally leave the shadows behind. Tashi offers a supportive thumbs up as she vows to reach their level, promising to become someone new. Thinking about their next raid, our hero realizes Pyron has brought nothing but luck into his life. He whispers the plan to Pyron first. We clear every debt, then we go on a shopping spree. It's officially the victory tour, starting with a massive shopping trip for all the essentials they've missed. A shopping montage follows, including a dapper slime, before they end up glued to a bakery window. Salivating over sweets, they head home where Tashi immediately turns his kitchen into a flaming disaster. After failing at cooking, he retreats to a hot bath, finally letting the day's stress melt away. Slaying monsters is hard work, but he's loving life with Pyron and his trusty rubber ducky. He smiles at his slime, enjoying the bubbles, but his peace is suddenly shattered by a lingering worry. Guilt creeps in over the trouble he caused Nitsan, but Pyron, the ultimate wingman, knows what to do. The slime nudges him to reach out, sending our shirtless hero into a complete nervous wreck. He begins spiraling, wondering if it's too soon to call, despite her telling him to reach out anytime. Thinking a call is too bold, he settles for a safe email, peak social bravery until fate intervenes. Suddenly, his phone erupts on the table. It's Nitsan calling, rescuing him from his own head again. Struggling to stay composed, Tashi picks up the phone. When she asks how he's doing, he plays it cool. He redirects the spotlight onto her. She claims she is fine, but the vibe feels strangely unfinished. Wait, it is not her, it is Ikazuki calling to check in. Tashi tells her he is just grinding quests now. Suddenly, she mentions that loser from school, Kasai. Instantly, Tashi's mood takes a total nosedive. He calls Kasai trash for whining about skills. Beside him, Puran's expression is pure gold. The slime looks smug, enjoying the jerk's downfall. Ikazuki agrees that guy is a total lost cause. She promises he will pay. Tashi senses a shift, though, asking her what is really bothering her. Then she drops a heavy one, his parents' accident. She wonders if that trauma still hurts him. Talk about an intense vibe check. Tashi softly admits that the memory still cuts deep today. She panics and apologizes for overstepping, but Tashi Hei flips the script with pure strength. He will live his best life for his parents' sake. His maturity leaves her totally flustered and moved. Tashi promises to call back and hangs up. But the moment the line goes dead, the truth is revealed: she is in a cold, silent hospital. Meanwhile, back at Tashi's apartment, he is staring into the void unsettled. He asks Puran if he felt that weird energy from her. The little slime looks up, totally sharing his anxiety. Tashi grips his phone, desperate to help. Is he just overthinking? Puran's nerves start fried as the phone keeps buzzing relentlessly. Still shaken by that call, Tashi tries to process. Fast forward to school the next day. Trouble is brewing. Tashi has been summoned to the principal's office, and he is bringing Puran along. It is time to finalize his school withdrawal. Immediately, the hallways explode with wild rumors. Word is out about him crushing Kasai and soloing B-rank dungeons. Inside, the principal awaits. He claims he has heard big things. No kidding. Then comes the massive plot twist. The principal wants him back, as soon as possible. Tashi is completely blindsided by this desperate U-turn. Turns out Ikazuki spilled the beans about why he really quit. Then a teacher plays dumb. They ask why he didn't report bullying, as if he hadn't tried. Now the principal's all smiles. He promises to fix things he ignored for months. He even offers a special dungeon work-only deal. They have been spying on his progress. Puran looks ready to scrap. Finally, the principal gets real. He demands to know why Tashi hid his power. The old man is basically begging him now. He pleads for Tashi to remain their student. Suddenly, the truth hits our boy. This isn't an apology, it is a cash grab for his fame. Tashi shuts that down instantly. He has got a new life now, thanks. But the principal's takeaway, truly delusional. He blames trauma instead of his toxic school. Enter Kasai's gang looking like total losers. They have a message. Tashi just glares instantly, locking eyes with his former tormentor. Kasai stutters a pathetic hello, clearly miserable. Meanwhile, the principal just enjoys the show. The gang performs a dramatic staged apology. They are begging for forgiveness. It is pure theater. Tashi gives them a stone-cold stare. So the principal tries guilt-tripping him into being manly. He offers up the corrupt teacher's head and promises a dream school experience. Pathetic. The real motive: they want Tashi to be their trophy. For a split second, he considers it. Is this the dream life he missed out on? He narrows his eyes, weighing the slime. But Puran, he is not having it. The little slime is literally radiating pure bloodlust. To him, these groveling adults are no better than dungeon monsters. He is ready to scrap. Tashi calms Puran down coldly, telling them he will consider it. Then he just walks out. The faculty is stunned. The principal scoffs while the teacher desperately calls out to him. By the door, Kasai mutters, "That bastard. Guess that apology was total garbage after all." Walking away, Tashi gently tells his fuming slime to take a breather. It is okay now. He assures Puran it is over. Tashi is finally cutting his ties to this toxic school forever. Suddenly, Akizuki sprints down the corridor to intercept him, leaving him completely stunned by her sudden appearance. They step outside, escaping the prying eyes of the campus. She exhales a sigh of relief, now that the withdrawal drama is over. Despite her massive help, she notices his lack of excitement. He confesses his doubts about whether returning was actually the right call. She firmly insists his future depends on graduating, then drops an absolute bombshell: she wants to share her entire school life with him. This sends his mind into a total tailspin. Is this a confession? He panics internally while desperately trying to maintain his poker face. Suddenly, her phone erupts with vibrations. As she picks up, he remains trapped in a daze, questioning if her feelings are truly special. Her face instantly drains of color mid-conversation. She slams the phone shut and vanishes into a sprint, without uttering a single word. Taishi stands frozen in confusion as she tears across the courtyard, sprinting with a desperation that suggests her entire world is at stake. Sensing a brewing catastrophe, he immediately pursues her. However, her destination is a place he has grown to absolutely dread: the hospital. Inside, he finds her flanked by several officers and mysterious men wearing dark formal suits. A somber crowd lingers outside a patient's room. Akizuki stands beside a stern man, the surrounding tension becoming nearly impossible to breathe. Akizuki crumples to the floor, her voice cracking as she screams for her mother. Taishi watches, paralyzed by shock and completely overwhelmed. He finds himself seated beside her father, who asks if they were classmates. Our protagonist quietly confirms their shared school days. He admits he already dropped out suddenly, recognizing this man as a legendary corporate titan he has only witnessed on television news. The chairman expresses gratitude for his friendship before spiraling into a self-deprecating speech about his failures as a father, but Taishi interrupts. After Taishi explains how Akizuki always protected him, her father sighs, recalling how radiantly bright her personality used to be. That was before her mother's illness. Now he shoulders the entire blame for her misery, visibly drowning in a sea of regret. He confesses to using career demands as a shield to stay away. Taishi, sensing the gravity, softly inquires about the mother's true state. The response is soul-crushing. Doctors have advised them to expect the worst, proving that even limitless wealth cannot buy a miracle. There is simply nothing left to be done. Taishi falls silent as the devastating reality of the situation finally crushes his spirit. Reflecting on his own parents and that familiar sting of powerlessness, a forgotten memory of Akizuki suddenly flickers in his mind. Recalling when she invited him to study, he confesses to her father that she was the true brilliant mind all along. She consistently dominated the class rankings, even proposing a friendly rivalry between them to push their scores to the absolute limit. Declaring that her encouragement was his sole motivation, Taishi vows to her father that he will do whatever it takes to save her. The chairman feels a surge of relief for her friendship, praying he remains loyal. Suddenly, an assistant arrives, citing urgent corporate business. Predictably, he apologizes for having to work now. A total rich dad trope that feels almost unreal in this tragedy. Before departing, he begs Taishi to remain by her side. Our hero snaps into focus, accepting the responsibility with zero hesitation. Thinking father-in-law to himself, he immediately cringes. "Read the room, bro." He panics, realizing he nearly uttered that aloud in the hospital. Meanwhile, the heart monitor's cold beeping serves as a haunting reminder of the life and death stakes at hand. Taishi and Puring peek inside, seeing Akizuki sitting in total isolation next to her mother's bedside. Returning to the corridor, he collapses onto a chair. As the crushing reality sinks in, Puring asks if healing her is possible. A flicker of hope ignites within Taishi. His mind is consumed by one singular goal: repaying the kindness she once gave him. Suddenly, Puring's expression turns incredibly grave. The small slime begins to vibrate intensely, while perched directly on top of his head. Channeling a state of absolute concentrated focus, Puring suddenly erupts into a blinding celestial light that illuminates the entire area. Projecting a vision of a mystical blue flower into his consciousness, Puring leaves Taishi completely paralyzed with awe. Questioning if this is the fabled cure, he watches as Puring leaps to the floor, prepared to guide him into danger. Puring strains with every ounce of its mystical energy, eventually sprouting a delicate flower-shaped limb directly from its jelly-like body. It triumphantly presents the completed slime botany with a grand flourish, puffing itself up in anticipation of a massive, game-changing reveal. It morphs into a staggeringly muscular slime man, a total absolute unit. Taishi frantically asks if this flora is the mother's cure. He cheers, asking the now miniaturized slime for the coordinates, while the little creature repositions itself back onto his head. Puring glows once more, projecting a map to a double S-rank dungeon. Naturally, it is a notorious legendary death trap. Taishi turns dead serious, questioning if Puring can handle returning to that trauma, but the slime is already burning with resolve. Prepared for the raid, Taishi pumps his fist, roaring his determination, just as Akizuki exits the hospital room. He sheepishly apologizes for his noise, but she is simply grateful to find him still waiting by her side. She urges him to head home, completely unaware that he is about to gamble his entire life to secure that miracle. He stubbornly waits for her father, nearly slipping another father-in-law, and she's visibly moved by his unwavering loyalty. A soft thank you escapes her lips. When he checks in, she firmly declares her mother will survive this ordeal. Tashi nods, realizing a suicide mission pitch is premature. Instead, he recalls the fateful day he abandoned school life. Reaffirming his oath to repay her kindness, he urges her to stay strong. Her expression instantly melts into warmth. Overwhelmed by his promise of protection, she offers a gentle smile, finally placing her complete trust in him. Back at base, the operation is in high gear. Tashi finalizes the strategy with Purion, while shoving gear into his pack. Destination double S rank dungeon. Knowing this won't be a speedrun, he stocks up on supplies for a long night. Bag secured, he's locked in for this insane gamble. He tosses his pack on and rallies his grumpy slime buddy. Speed is vital. They're tearing through a ghostly forest now, with Purion acting as a bioluminescent glowing GPS. They reach the portal. He never imagined returning to this literal hellscape, but here they are. Peering into the same pitch-black abyss he once fled, Tashi exhales sharply, hardening his resolve for the upcoming chaos. Golden aura erupting, he plunges into the dark. Seconds later, a colossal shadow lunges from the gloom. A massive lizard man greets them with a roar. Tashi goes full power, charging a fist with radiant holy energy. Boom! The impact is blinding, completely erasing the lizard. He hovers briefly over the remains of the fallen beast. That was just the warm-up. From the shadows above, a goblin assassin drops for a lethal surprise strike. Our protagonist doesn't blink, just shoots it, a look of pure fatigue. This time, he's got backup. A golden lash whips out from his back, Purion's power leaving the goblin frozen in midair shock. The slime whip lashes out with lethal precision, absolutely shredding the goblin before it even hits the floor. Tashi sticks the landing perfectly, as the monster disintegrates into mist behind him. Smooth as silk. He's still wearing school shoes. Dungeon chic is the new meta. But wait, the greeting party just got bigger. An entire goblin legion blocks the path. To Tashi, a mountain of monsters just means they're heading the right way. Top-tier logic, right. With a smirk, he begins channeling massive energy for the real main event. Time to finish this fast. He prepares a high-level technique, activating a little something called nuclear fusion. Your typical high schooler skill, he transforms into a vortex of gold, manifesting a literal blade of pure light. He slices through the vanguard like wet paper, finally exhaling once the entire mob is wiped from existence. The cavern is a graveyard of goblin remains. Total annihilation. But man, that move really drained his tank. Oops. They forgot the snacks for their S-rank death trip. Purion is officially throwing a massive temper tantrum. The little guy demands food, but then he freezes. He hops down, his expression turning deadly serious. Staring into a void-like cavern, a familiar shiver crawls down Tashi's spine. He knows this oppressive pressure. It's the lair of King Buffalo, the beast that nearly ended him. Seems their path leads straight into the jaws of death. Tashi prepares for battle, calling out his old nightmare for a rematch. No running. From the dark, a claw emerges. A jagged claw scrapes the stone, a promise of vengeance. The king himself slowly emerges from the shadows. This isn't the same beast from before. Tashi tenses up, realizing the monster has evolved into something far more terrifying. King Buffalo steps into the light, eager to crush the rat that got away. This boss has a long memory. Vowing to swallow his only failure whole, the beast blurs forward. Its speed is insane, catching Tashi off guard. It's on him in a heartbeat. A whirlwind of claws and a massive tail whip around for a killing blow. Purion snaps into shield mode, barely blocking the strike. The monster lets out a deafening, frustrated roar. Enraged by the block, it pivots. It lunges for Purion, realizing the slime is the key to Tashi's defense. The beast connects. It snaps, its jaws shut, ripping the slime buddy straight off Tashi's shoulder. The trap is set, divide and conquer. Without his partner, the human is nothing but a snack. King Buffalo delivers a punishing blow, sending Tashi tumbling. Without the slime, he's completely vulnerable. But Tashi's gaze is lethal. He isn't done yet. Just as he nears the ground, a familiar feeling returns. Cushion Supreme activated Purion saves the day again. Tashi lands safely, regaining his footing on a nearby ledge. He screams that they're a team forever, but the buffalo just sneers, dreaming of a double-course meal. The beast is salivating, hungry for their souls. Tashi just scoffs, taunting the monster from his high ground. Disrespected as a glutton. Fine. He ignites his aura, ready to delete that attitude. One fist, overflowing with divine radiance, sends the beast tumbling back in pure agony. Game over. King Buffalo is officially curb-stomped. Surrounded by monster remains, our hero instantly powers down, whining that he'll literally die without a snack break. Suddenly, a chilling pressure suffocates the air. A voice sneers, mocking them as a mere human and a pathetic slime. Out of the abyss steps a true nightmare, swearing their doom. King Buffalo hasn't just returned. He's evolved into a massive, skeletal demon lord. Tashi and Pyron are shook. This boss-level power jump is absolutely insane. The Titan unleashes a bone-chilling roar. Tashi freezes, dwarfed by a creature that's grown 10 times bigger and twice as terrifying. No hesitation. The monster swings a colossal limb, intending to pulverize them under a massive razor-sharp claw. As the lethal strike descends, Tashi ignites a golden barrier. The air screams as the crushing force makes contact. But he blurs out of existence just in time. The beast snarls, losing its mind over this slippery little brat. Tashi slides to a halt, his eyes gleaming. The warm-up is over. Now the real carnage begins. A memory flashes, a terrified child running for his life. But he's not that kid anymore. His aura explodes outward. He's never running again. The demon roars about, devouring him whole. How original. Tashi just smirks and claps his hands. Time for a gift, he whispers. A blinding golden sun forms around him as he levitates, gathering raw energy. With a furious Pyron hitching a ride, he calls down the judgment bolt. King Buffalo looks up, realizing he messed up. A divine pillar of electricity strikes from the heavens, smiting the monster with absolute unholy authority. Bones shatter and flesh burns under the celestial barrage. The beast is driven deep into the dirt. Tashi lands softly. Hair fading to black, he looks totally bored. But the monster gasps, one last threat, they'll never leave this place alive. Tashi casually strolls over and delivers a disrespectful boot to its face, pinning the demon's skull to the floor. Unbothered by the final boss's ego, he leaps high, calling on Bullhead to help deliver the finishing blow. Later, loser. He triggers the seal. A violent eruption of shadow and gold tears through the monster's core. His palm hits the ground, silencing the cavern. As the smoke clears, the threat is finally truly erased. He collapses, completely drained. His heroic first words, "I am starving." Typical Tashi energy. Minutes later, they are literally praying over a massive monster drumstick, roasting over a crackling fire. Found the snacks, dungeon barbecue is officially served, and these two are ready to feast like kings. They are drooling over the roast, but Pyron suddenly stops. His little eyes lock onto some glowing mushrooms nearby. He starts inhaling them instantly. Tashi watches confused before picking one up to inspect the weird fungi. Don't eat random stuff. Too late. The system pings high toxicity double S-rank poison cap. Tashi goes into full panic mode. He tries to pry the deadly snack away, but Pyron gulps it down with the most smug expression ever. Tashi screams for a healer as Pyron literally splits in half. It is melting, but the status window tells a different story. 1 point of damage, and he healed it instantly. This little slime is just built different for real. Tashi exhales, realizing he just had a heart attack over nothing. Crisis averted mostly. They get back to the main course, devouring everything before finally crashing for some well-earned rest. Our hero is out cold in a massive food coma, while Pyron perches on his chest like a tiny sentry. The slime watches his partner sleep, ensuring he gets some peace in this nightmare-filled cavern. Suddenly, Pyron's gaze sharpens. He hops off, vanishing into the abyss alone. Tashi wakes up with a violent start. He shouts for his buddy, but the silence is deafening. He is completely alone in the dark, heart racing. High alert, ready to move. Then a trauma core memory hits the day he left Pyron behind because he was weak. Horror sinks in. This is the exact spot where his guilt began. Bringing Pyron back here was a mistake. He shakes it off. He needs to move now. Standing before a pitch-black tunnel, he tries to track Pyron's energy. He closes his eyes, focusing every sense on the void. Suddenly, a faint ping resonates from the shadows. Following the trail, he hits a rocky canyon wall. A dead end. That makes zero sense. He checks the stone, wondering if Pyron phased through. He tries the secret wall sprint, and bam. Faceplant. A total fail. But as he grovels on the floor, he realizes this is not just a wall. It is a concealed gateway. Who built this? What are they hiding? Then, the terrifying truth finally clicks. His eyes widen as he springs up, absolute dread washing over him. A secret doorway grinds open. Beyond lies a colossal primordial shrine. Tashi senses Pyron inside and frantically screams his name. Desperate to find his companion, he gingerly enters the eerie sacred sanctuary. A tiny yellow blob emerges from the shadows. Tashi exhales, drowning in massive relief. He grabs the little guy, scolding him through shaky breaths. Pyron just shoots a cocky wink. Zero remorse, pure mission. Then he unveils a shimmering celestial blue blossom, leaving Tashi speechless. The system chimes, confirming this mythical flora can purge any terminal sickness known to man. Our hero is over the moon, roaring that Pyron actually pulled it off. Kazuki's mother can finally be saved, yet he still rebukes the slime for such a suicidal solo stunt. He vows they'll be inseparable from now on. The little slime seems deeply moved by the promise. Flashback. Pyron had discovered the sacred petal all on his own. Resting on an altar, his resolve was ironclad until a shadowy horned goddess materialized. Greeting him like a ghost from the past, she sneers. Is playing pet to humans truly satisfying? This horned deity identifies as the dungeon goddess, branding Pyron a common thief. Pyron barks back, totally unyielding. She cackles, mocking him for serving such fragile, pathetic mortals. Turning away, she refuses to surrender the prize. In response, Pyron prepares to take it by force. She finds his bravado adorable. Leaning close, she dares the blob to try sending Pyron into a rage. Ready to clash, the goddess just offers a cold, bored stare. He doesn't scare her. Pyron's killing intent never wavers. Suddenly, she flips the script, laughing that she was just messing with him. Turning her back, she casually waves him off. Take it, and go, before her whims change again. Wary, the slime claims his treasure and breaks into a joyous victory wiggle. But she kills the vibe instantly, prophesying their inevitable split. Pyron tilts his head in confusion. She smiles with pure malice, mocking his blind faith in humanity. Then comes the killing blow. Lest he forget he was discarded once. Humans betray you once you're useless. Pyron grabs the flower and bolts. Ignoring her lecture, the goddess mumbles the word friend, as if it is some ancient dead language. Intrigued by the drama, she lets him flee, and the slime bounces toward the exit. A trail of slime marks his triumph as Tashi carries him out. The goddess watches from the threshold. Her gaze is a cryptic blur of regret and intrigue, while Tashi is just purely elated. Grateful, his cocky partner is safe, he leaves. Behind them, the deity sinks into her thoughts, back on her lonely throne. Present-day Pyrrhon is actually beginning to sob. Those haunting words and that final twisted grin from the goddess feel like a death sentence, a curse masked as destiny. Her parting shot rings in his ears, enjoy it while it lasts. Flower in hand, they reach the hospital under a blood-soaked sky. Tashi sprints through the corridors. Every second counts. He prays to the heavens for a miracle, running as if death is at his heels. The boy is in a total frenzy, racing the clock until he skids outside the intensive care unit. Kazuki is there, absolutely crumbling into tears. Tashi's world stops as his heart plummets into his stomach. Tashi collapses, crushed by the weight of failure. The hallway echoes with Kazuki's raw, agonizing grief. Her cries pierce the air. Even Pyrrhon looks devastated as her father stands nearby, looking like a ghost. Broken beyond repair, he turns toward the operating theater with a defeated soul. Kazuki finally spots Tashi whispering his name. He frantically asks, is she still alive? It is critical, but a spark of hope remains. Suddenly, the heart monitor emits a terrifying flat tone. 0 vitals. Panic strikes. Kazuki bolts toward the room with a desperate scream. She shrieks for her mother. Tashi stands frozen, paralyzed by the sudden frantic chaos inside. That high-pitched beep fills the air. The medical team watches in silent horror as Tashi steps inside. The father restrains his hysterical daughter. The doctor sighs, eyes downcast as the last shred of hope vanishes. The head physician surrenders to the inevitable. Kazuki's father holds her tight as she completely spirals into despair. Tashi stands paralyzed, a ghost witnessing the carnage. And soon, the chilling reason for his shock is revealed. A haunting memory of his parents' demise flashes by. Snapping back, he slams his gear down with icy resolve. Gripping the miracle meant to defy fate, he roars that this double S rank blossom is her final lifeline. But the miracle is too late. The medics have already declared time is up. He screams for them to listen while Akazuki and her dad stand frozen, begging them to use the flower. A nurse snaps at him to keep quiet, but he refuses to back down, desperately fighting for their attention. His sheer conviction finally catches the doctor's eye. Akazuki just stares at him, her heart shattering in her eyes. She whispers about his promise. Suddenly, a darker memory resurfaces, the oath he gave her father to stay away forever. Then, a wild plot twist. The blonde rival steps up, revealing she never doubted him for a single second. Tashi and Puron ignore the noise and lock in. Then, the moment of truth arrives. She's standing right there. Heartbroken by the chaos, she pushes forward, demanding everyone hold on for just one more moment. She puts her word on the line for Tashi, pleading for her friend. It's officially an all-out group effort. They all swarm the doctor while Akazuki sobs by her mother, clutching onto the hope of a miracle. The doctor shuts it down. Untested magic is against code. But that's when Akazuki's father finally makes his move. He plays the ultimate guardian card, taking full blame and putting the doctor's entire career on the line. After a grueling silence, the flatline vanishes. A heartbeat returns, pulsing with life after an agonizing wait. Nurses hover over the monitors, 24/7. Outside, Tashi and her dad wait breathless for the official news. The verdict is in: the flower worked. Her father is glowing with relief, even though more tests remain. The doctor remains a total buzzkill, staying strictly professional. Meanwhile, Akazuki is already glued to her mother's side. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the father offers Tashi a deep, soul-felt bow that almost touches the floor. He seizes Tashi's hands, totally wrecked by emotion while trying to process the impossible. He realizes the massive risk Tashi took to save them. Our boy just shrugs and gives all credit to Puron. Puron enjoys the spotlight without a hint of shame. Then Tashi accidentally slips and calls him father-in-law. A scream echoes, sending them racing down the corridor. They burst in to find Akazuki's mom finally awake. She's actually smiling at her girl. Tashi and the dad linger at the door, completely choked up. Akazuki is a sobbing, happy mess. The entire family is finally whole again at her bedside. With the nightmare finished, our hero shares a silent, winning look with his tiny partner Puron. The nurse is losing it, screaming that it's a miracle. The doctor immediately orders every test in the book. He tries to stay cool while Tashi fixates on that one-word miracle, the thing he's craved for years. It triggers a flashback to his broken childhood, wishing for this exact moment. And now, years later, the miracle arrived, but for a different family. Giving them space, he tells Puron it's time to move on. Our boy vanishes into the empty hallways. Moments later, he's cycling down a path drenched in golden sunlight. It's a peaceful vibe, but a strange weight still sits in his chest, despite Puron being right there. Dark thoughts creep in. Could he have saved his own parents with Puron? The what-ifs start spiraling. He clutches his head in agony until a sudden vibration in his pocket shatters the self-loathing. Puron watches with worry as he checks his phone. While at a bus stop, he answers Akazuki's call. She's beaming, reporting her mom's recovery is legendary. Teishi is genuinely hyped for her success. He says he always knew she'd make it. Then she asks his location. Her mom wants a face-to-face thank you. He fakes it, saying he's already home, leaving a trace of disappointment in Akazuki's voice. He pivots, suggesting a meetup once her mom is discharged. Akazuki reluctantly rolls with the plan. She sounds slightly unsure, but Teishi ends the call with a deep, soulful thank you. He whispers her name one last time, grateful that she believed in him when the world didn't. She just blinks at her screen. Inside the ward, her mother asks where their mysterious hero went. Akazuki mentions he left, masking her sadness with a brave smile, while wishing she could have said more. She's sure they'll meet again soon. A brilliant new morning finds Teishi pedaling under the bright sun. He looks more relaxed. Puron drops a much-needed pep talk, reminding him to just enjoy the win. Our hero cycles off dreaming of a feast before suddenly slamming on his brakes. The tires screech as reality hits him like a freight train. He's got adult responsibilities to handle. Priority 1, his apartment. He's majorly behind on rent and has to face the landlady's door. With a low bow and sugary treats, she plays the part of the saintly landlady. She takes the bribe with a smile, but her eyes turn cold with a terrifying warning. Talk about a mood swing. Taishi shivers desperately, swearing he'll never mess up again. Puron's vibing at home, but Taishi still has one last hurdle, quitting his cafe gig. His boss is literally crying over his departure, while her husband is just pure hype. Taishi's officially a ranker now. They beg him not to ghost them once he's famous. With a warm send-off and an open door, our boy struts away with major main character energy. Despite their worries about his risky new life, he knows Puron has his back forever. Cut to the hospital, our blonde rival is gushing to her mom about Taishi's unexpected support. She calls him a total weirdo, but her mom clocks how much he's actually obsessed. Karen turns beet red, confessing he makes her heart flutter. Cue the emotional flashback. High school day 1, she remembers him as the only guy with a total emo cloud. She was drowning in grief too, watching everyone else celebrate while her world was crashing. Two lonely souls in a sea of joy, she finally decided to break the ice first. His selfless act sparked a connection that neither would ever forget. Back to reality. She swears Taishi is the real deal, and her mom is just happy she's finally smiling. Parental approval unlocked, yet Karen still finds him to be a complete and total enigma. From scoring free fish to random butcher shop runs, the guy is a man of mystery. He's a total chaos magnet, but weirdly reliable even when hauling a mountain of fried snacks. Just thinking about him brings a smile until mom drops a total truth bomb. The one who makes you laugh is the one, mom says. Karen is shook to her core. Dad's a total grump, but mom fell for that tough guy with a heart vibe. Karen beams, realizing Taishi fits that exact vibe. Mom just gives her that I know look. That was the moment mom fell, and now the realization is finally hitting Karen too. Mom's words echo in her mind. Is she actually falling for this guy? It's hitting hard. Face glowing red, she hits the panic button, screaming they're just friends at the top of her lungs. The classic just friends lie. Mom just smirks, knowing exactly what's up. Karen's spiraling in denial, while mom just watches the drama with a playful grin. Suddenly, dad bursts in with sushi, totally killing the mood with his oblivious energy. Seeing her parents get all lovey-dovey is giving Karen a major case of secondhand cringe. Cringe overload. She retreats for water, trying to survive this new world of parental PDA. Still processing the parents in love reveal her brain is officially short-circuiting. Who knew dad was a closet romantic? Speak of the devil, he appears right behind her. She does a literal spit take right in his face, but he just tanks it like a pro. He hands her a new phone, a direct line to her destiny. Karen stares at it stunned. The matchmaking plan is crystal clear now. Dad admits he felt that same spark once. It's a full-blown parental conspiracy. They're totally meddling in her love life. With a secret smile, she gives in. It's time to call her favorite friend for a date. A perfect sunny day sets the stage. Kazuki's already there, heart racing with anticipation. She's dressed to kill, and finally Taishi arrives, calling her name across the park. She plays it cool, but he's low-key dying over how cute she looks, asking about Puran. The little guy's napping, so Taishi suggests a quiet spot to finally just talk. In the cool shade, Kazuki breaks the ice. The vibes are perfect, and the air is sweet. A peaceful silence settles between them. She notices he's glowing with a new kind of energy. I am happy because you are here, he says. Her heart skips a beat. This is it. Finally, his abilities are doing some good. He is glowing with pride until his bag suddenly starts twitching. Nap time is officially over. Pyron emerges and starts bouncing around, totally hijacking the spotlight. The chaos catches a photographer's eye, and he snaps a quick Polaroid of the trio. He hands them the photo as a gift. While Pyron glares at the stranger, Tashi accepts the souvenir. Caught off guard, he and Akazuki lean in together. The photo captured a truly heartwarming moment. Tashi smoothly tells her she looks stunning. What a charmer, suddenly hyped Akazuki is ready to play. Our hero and his slime sidekick are down for the ride. They go dashing off together. They soak up the sun before the scene shifts to the city. Their date is winding down. Cue the montage. Akazuki pranks Tashi with bunny ears before they hit the theater. Pyron is the most focused moviegoer ever. Next up, they go grab some noodles. The slime chills on the table with zero shame before claiming Tashi's ice cream as his new throne. Day turns to a starlit night, ending their perfect afternoon as Tashi walks her home. Strolling through the quiet streets, the romantic tension is absolutely off the charts. Suddenly, our boy remembers she had something important to tell him. While their slime chaperone is passed out in the bag, Akazuki starts to get shy. She admits she is always worried about him. Yep, this is a full-blown confession scene. But the vibe is instantly killed by a helicopter roaring overhead. Dust and wind explode everywhere. The moment is shattered. Hanging from the chopper are 4 suits looking super suspicious. They drop onto the pavement like a tactical squad led by a stern-looking bald man. This guy Takahara greets Tashi by his family name, Yuzukira. He clearly means business. Tashi is just baffled. Why did this guy need a helicopter for a simple greeting? Word travels fast. Takahara says the association heard all about his double S-rank dungeon. Right there on the street, he officially names Tashi an S-rank ranker. That chopper is still deafening. He shouts Tashi's name for the world to hear, dropping the bombshell. S-rank status, just like that. Tashi is stunned while Pyron looks pissed about the interruption. Even the suits are doubting him. They think Tashi looks like a weakling, ignoring rumors that he literally devoured a dragon. Incredible. The lead suit steps up, demanding to see his power firsthand. He gets right in Tashi's face. He demands an immediate S-ranker test. S-ranks are national treasures. They are not handed out for free. If Tashi is the real deal, this test should be a walk in the park. No excuses. The entire entourage pressures him for an answer. Akazuki is visibly terrified for him. She asks if it is dangerous, but Tashi just gives her a reassuring, confident look. Pyron smirks with total boss energy as Tashi asks Akazuki to trust him just one more time. Total main character move. This is the moment for him and Pyron to prove their worth. With a grin, he promises to crush the test and finish their confession chat when he gets back. Absolute riz. Akazuki is blushing hard, and Tashi finally accepts the challenge. He faces the suits. Takahara announces their ride is here. Another helicopter, obviously. Akazuki watches them disappear into the sky, filled with worry. From inside, Tashi gives a cool wave. Pyron is just vibing on his head. As they fly over a massive canyon, she cheers him on. The suits explain the rules. The missions survive, the treacherous canyon dungeon below. Sounds simple, right? He gets a map and 24 hours to reach the finish line. But if he gets too injured or fails to impress the suits, he fails. No pressure. As they reach the drop zone, Tashi stands at the open door of the soaring helicopter. The suits start panicking. They scream for him to sit down. The area is crawling with monsters. But our boy just smirks. So this is where the strongest ones hide. He just yeets himself into the abyss, calling it a shortcut. The crew is absolutely losing their minds. Taishi leaps into the abyss, sprouting radiant golden wings, while shadow demons watch from the darkness below. Ignoring their certain doom, he folds his hands like a miniature sun and whispers a single command. A cataclysmic flash erupts, incinerating the canyon walls with the force of a divine, holy explosion. The shockwave hammers the helicopter, sending the pilot into a panicked, screaming frenzy as they lose control. The suits lose their minds while Takahara freezes. Those S-class threats didn't even have time to react. A total wipeout without taking a single scratch. His entire entourage just gapes through the open door. Stunned silence reigns. Takahara finally realizes this kid's power transcends the entire S-rank ceiling. An agent shouts, "Survival detected." Taishi looks down unfazed as a massive beast stirs within the debris. A titanic serpent rises from the carnage, glaring at our luminous hero and his glowing slime partner. Taishi's expression remains cold as Pyron encircles the beast with a devastating golden spiral of energy. Instantly, the monster vaporizes into a crimson mist. The chopper crew watches their jaws hitting the floor. Landing casually, Taishi asks if the test is over. The trembling agents immediately grant him official clearance. His final promotion quest, slay the legendary King Crab, lurking within a treacherous deep-sea abyss. Sounds easy, Taishi scoffs, though Takahara warns him this dungeon is a completely different beast. While the zone is A rank, the boss is pure S rank nightmare fuel. Taishi asks for the details. Deep-sea pressure is the real killer. Inside the transport, the crew looks like they've seen ghosts. One agent warns his partner, this isn't just a mission, it's a suicide run into another league. Reaching the gate is a death sentence, but Taishi just smiles, trusting his loyal glowing slime companion. Pyron beams with absolute confidence. Suddenly the pilot signals they've finally reached the drop zone. Time to move. Our duo gears up, ready to dive into the crushing obsidian dark. The hatch slides open above the dark waves. Taishi signals his intent without a shred of doubt. He plunges into the void again. High above the water, he calls for his partner's unique powers. Pyron instantly expands, encasing him in a shimmering high-pressure bubble for the long underwater descent. They pierce the surface, sinking rapidly toward the eerie silhouettes of a forgotten, spooky civilization. Sunken ruins loom below. Taishi marvels at the architecture as Pyron shifts into an agile manta ray. The slime takes point, charging its core with a brilliance that signals the hunt has officially begun. A blinding supernova of light explodes from the slime, announcing their arrival to the deep-sea monsters. Taishi is blinded. Apparently, Pyron uses nuclear fusion just to light up a room. Absolute flex. Hyped by his buddy's power, they glide through the silent spectral remains of the ancient city. Pyron detaches to scout the perimeter alone, leaving Taishi to navigate this alien liquid world. The atmosphere feels heavy. Spotting the main sanctuary, Taishi decides to charge straight into the heart. They breach the surface inside a hidden grotto. Taishi scans the area from his slime raft. A colossal moss-covered temple towers over them. The air is thick, with a suffocating, unnatural silence. Huge red flag. Thousands of grotesque slug monsters emerge from the cracks, hunger in their eyes. Pyron's instincts flare instantly. The little guy squares up, ready to delete anything that moves. Fanged monstrosities lunge from the shadows, but the slime is already locked onto its targets. Caught in the sudden crossfire, Taishi watches as a furious Pyron refuses to back down. A golden pulse erupts, blasting the aquatic predators back into the dark depths where they belong. Crisis averted. Taishi offers a quick thanks, and the slime puffs up with adorable warrior pride. Feeling invincible, they march down a damp corridor deeper into the bowels of the temple. A winged beast ambushes them, swallowing Pyron whole. Seconds later, the slime's lasers carve a way out. He dices 2 crab sentries mid-air before slamming a fish beast. Taishi just keeps sprinting forward. Weaving through the carnage, Taishi spots the boss chamber. He asks his buddy if they're ready. They step into the arena. From the black water, a massive menacing silhouette slowly begins to rise. The S-rank king crab reveals its armored form, striking a terrifying flex like a literal underwater titan. Taishi stares at those luminous pincers, totally baffled. Suddenly, a single droplet pierces the water's surface. A tiny ripple forms. Our boy's clueless, jokingly wondering if this monster is inviting them for a dip. Whoosh! A high-pressure water jet blasts past. An A-rank marlin has just crashed the party. Then comes a massive A-rank octopus. Taishi yells for Pyrion to stay sharp and stay focused, but the slime's already locked in. Pyrion drifts between the threats, radiating an ominous lethal glow. Flash, both A-rank beasts are instantly steam-cooked into seafood. They just float there, totally defeated. Total annihilation. Taishi's first instinct. Damn, that looks tasty. Talk about having your priorities straight. While he's dreaming of dinner, the king crab snatches him. He's pinned before he can even react. Our hero struggles in that iron grip. Death stares him down as the S-rank boss prepares to crush. Pyrion's absolutely horrified, but Taishi just flashes a cocky smirk. Don't sweat it, I'm totally fine. Boom, he gets yeeted across the room. Pyrion is in total shock as Taishi dangles over the water. That's when it happens. Pyrion's fear of death skill triggers, and a terrifying dark aura explodes. The entire cavern suffocates under the pressure. For once, even that S-rank boss looks visibly nervous. Taishi realizes Pyrion's burning massive power. He's still trapped, but the tide is finally turning. Now's our chance. Finish it, he screams. The slime snaps back, ready for the final blow. Round 2. Let's go. Pyrion activates mithril transformation, the ultimate technique for internal destruction. Taishi leaps onto a floating shell shard. He's got his makeshift raft and a clear shot. The crab's leg is wide open. Pyrion morphs into a living mithril torpedo and launches straight up. A blinding blue explosion rocks the boss. The king crab freezes, getting decimated from the inside out. Taishi stands atop the limp claw, totally dazed. The giant monster is just floating there, lifeless. Total victory. Our boy stares at the massive carcass, still trying to process the absolute win. Did we actually do it? Pyrion responds with a proud, victorious little chirp from the shell. Naturally, Taishi's first thought is how delicious it looks. The slime just beams with pure pride. Victory is sweet, but Pyrion starts wobbling. That one-shot kill drained every last drop of energy. It's a clean wrap. Taishi hitches a ride on his buddy who's now wearing the shell hat. He runs a hand over the prize, not a single scratch. A kill most S-rankers couldn't pull off. You're the GOAT, Pyrion. Taishi gives his slime the heartfelt thanks he truly deserves. With the boss secured, they head for the exit. Pyrion's spent, but the mission is a success. Above, the helicopter crew is losing their minds. Takahara's team is stressed to the breaking point. One agent is ready to call for backup, but the boss tells him to have some faith. Suddenly, a ripple breaks the eerie calm. The agent points down in absolute alarm and shock. It's Taishi, just casually surfing on the S-rank boss's shell like a total legend. The entire crew is frozen, speechless. The doubter is just sputtering, trying to believe his eyes. That's when the reality hits. A true S-rank powerhouse has officially made his big debut. Taishi looks up, asking for a tow. The agents finally snap out of it and report back. The rope finally drops from the sky. Taishi waits for the airlift with his massive trophy. Takahara gives him the official thumbs up. He's a real deal S-ranker now, no doubt about it. Our boy is hyped, thanking him from his crab throne. He immediately turns to share the news. Pyrrhion chirps back, happily enjoying their victory lap on the open water. But the slime starts wobbling again. Taishi promises a feast that'll blow its mind soon. That gets an enthusiastic response. It's time for a major celebration party for the duo. The boss finds the whole carefree vibe heartwarming. They fly off into the sunset with the haul. They head straight for HQ, where Taishi is formally appointed as the newest S-rank hero. The paperwork is done and the world knows. Our boy finally gets his official hero shot. The legend of the slime tamer has only just begun. Watch out, world, Taishi is here. Trying to look cool, Tashi finds a massive welcome party waiting on the rooftop. The squad erupts into wild applause, leaving our hero totally shook. These aren't just cheers, they're genuine respect. Tashi looks down, feeling the heavy warmth of the reception. After a lifetime of being treated like trash, the tables have finally turned. Drowning in this sudden surge of praise, Tashi stands frozen, letting the moment consume him. He swears an oath to his new S-rank duties, while his co-workers start acting like total fanboys. Hailed as the branch's new legend, Takahara presents the dream contract, deadly missions, and massive wealth. Official news is paused since he is a minor, but this secret will not stay buried for long. With god-tier power comes soul-crushing responsibility. Tashi listens as the heavy reality finally sinks in, but doubt still flickers. Looking totally stressed, he admits he feels like a complete fraud. He gives all the credit to Pyrrhion. Takahara witnesses this classic MC self-doubt before asking the real question. Why did Pyrrhion choose him? Our boy thinks it was just luck, but Takahara completely shuts that down. He claims Tashi is the one with true strength because surviving a contract with Pyrrhion is legendary. It is the ultimate flex of his power. Pyrrhion just vibrates with pride, totally feeling himself right now. His boss tells him to believe in his own hype. Then he asks if Tashi is free for a trip. There is a secret spot he needs to see. They head out for a mysterious S-ranker field trip. They arrive at a jaw-dropping high-end traditional restaurant. Tashi is absolutely losing his mind. So this is where the elites eat. Inside, a chef in formal robes gives them a grand welcome. Head chef Tatsumi suddenly bursts into tears, calling the two of them his absolute saviors. He pulls a confused Tashi into a suffocating hug. Meanwhile, Takahara just keeps it cool. He smoothly accepts the invite. They are served a literal emperor's feast, which is apparently just a normal lunch. Tashi is spiraling over how fancy this spread is, and Tatsumi tells them to feast until they pop. He owes them a massive debt. Takahara explains that this master chef was actually their secret client. He was the one behind that insane king crab quest. Tashi finally connects the dots to that suicide mission. The chef then invites the hungry slime to eat first. Trust me, that was a huge mistake. Tashi's voice cracks as he screams for Pyrrhion to chill. Once the feeding frenzy ends, a bloated grinning, Pyrrhion finally kicks back. While Tashi bows in apology for the mess, the chef beams. He calls the feast the ultimate prize for a job well done. He wonders if hunting a king crab was just for some fancy appetizer. Tatsumi chuckles, admitting that was only half the reason. There's a deeper motive behind the madness. This isn't for the restaurant, it's a dedicated tribute, crafted for just one specific person. Tashi's eyes go wide. A single dish. The chef explains it's a gift for a legendary benefactor who supported him for years. They just flew back from abroad with a massive craving. He's just hyped he could secure the ingredients for this reunion meal. Tashi feels a lump in his throat. Using monster hunting skills for a sentimental gesture like that, truly a top-tier move. The chef glances over, asking if Tashi has someone special too. Then he drops some heavy old-school wisdom on our boy. Never bury your feelings for them. When you're old and gray, the words you didn't say will be your only regret. That truth bomb hits Tashi like a physical strike. His heart races as a sudden realization begins to take hold. A certain blonde girl's smile flashes in his mind. Akazuki, he whispers, eyes wide before jumping to his feet in a panic. He shouts that he totally forgot a promise and bolts. Takahara just watches him go, not even trying to stop the kid. Tashi shouts his thanks and disappears with Pyrrhion. Left alone, the chef sips his tea, looking like he planned this all along. He muses on how cracked this kid is solving an S-rank crisis that fast. Seems the rookie is already the talk of the town. Rumors are spreading like wildfire across the association. An underage S-ranker is a historical first, and everyone knows it. Then comes the real request. He asks the chef to keep a watchful eye on Tashi. After all, he's still just a kid. With a silent stone-faced nod, the pact is sealed. Meanwhile, Tashi is tearing through the city streets like a man on a mission. He's a total blur on the sidewalk, ignoring every red light. Heart pounding, he fumbles with his phone to make a call. He's grinning like a dork until reality sets in. Wait, Akazuki should be stuck in class right now, shouldn't she? He hesitates to lurk near campus as a dropout. Suddenly, his phone vibrates, an unknown caller ID is flashing on the screen. It's the ultimate side quest trigger, on the line, none other than his former high school principal. Believe it or not, the head honcho called personally. Seems the homeroom teacher struck out getting a straight answer. The principal is straight up begging for Tuka's return, swearing to grant any crazy condition he demands. Talk about a massive power shift. Tuka keeps it ice cold, simply agreeing to a face-to-face meeting. Destination Gekuhai, the scene of the crime. But first, he's got to track down Akazuki. Priorities first, admin second. Suddenly, he catches a glimpse of her further down the hallway. Our boy's face beams ready for a grand greeting until he sees her strolling with another guy. Instant buzzkill. Tuka's smile vanishes instantly, and even Pyron looks like he's ready to throw hands. The whispers start. It's Nishiyama, the soccer captain. Great. And Akazuki is actually laughing with him. Seeing her that happy cuts deep. Tuka just stands there, totally stunned, and low-key devastated. That S-rank swagger just evaporates, making him feel like that invisible loser all over again. A voice snaps him back to reality. Tuka turns, looking crushed only to face his former tormentors. As if today wasn't trash enough, the blonde ringleader glares him down, spitting his name like a curse. They mock him for being a dropout, but Tuka doesn't flinch. He's just there for the principal. Total vibe shift. The bully's smug face falters because Tuka isn't showing a shred of fear. Pyron is itching for a fight. The bully suddenly notices Tuka's eyes are cold and lethal. The coward is gone, replaced by a predator. Now it's the bully's turn to start sweating buckets. The tables haven't just turned, they've flipped. Suddenly, this jerk is begging for a favor. Iconic. He's pleading for Tuka to unseal his skill, crying about feeling like total trash without his powers. The irony is chef's kiss. He's absolutely desperate now, literally howling to get his strength back. His goons realize they're just weak C rankers. Seeing no way out, the leader drops to his knees. He's full-on groveling. Tuka stares down at the pathetic sight and hits him with a cold no. Remembering how this guy treated him like filth, Tuka doesn't hesitate to flip the script. Did he really think he could play victim while still terrorizing the weak? Tuka isn't buying it. This settles it. Tuka is definitely returning. Now he finally has the power to serve real justice. Time for a massive cleanup. The bully is shaking, completely floored by Tuka's newfound backbone. With a chilling smile, Tuka lays down the law. Step out of line and he will provide receipts. He'll pay them back 10,000-fold. His old bullies are literally paralyzed with pure, unadulterated terror. The coward swears he'll change. Yeah, right. Tuka calls him out by name, ending the lies. He knows this snake's true nature. A pinky promise won't work. This lesson needs to be permanent. Suddenly, a lackey flees, screaming like a banshee while instantly throwing his own boss under the bus. It was all Shota's fault, he yells. The others jump in too. Wow, such peak loyalty. Tuka coldly reminds them of their innocent victims before activating his lethal skill, Death Fear. Class is in session. Pyron shifts into massive slime tentacles, ensnaring the terrified bullies instantly. One gets snagged by the gooey arm of justice, while the others, they're all trapped. One look at Tuka's eyes tells you he's done playing nice. It's over. He invades their minds with a horrific, monstrous eye. The ringleader's brain just straight up short circuits. He's left drooling while his squad twitches. Tuka casually mentions, that was just a tiny taste. It's nothing compared to the pain they caused. Time for them to rethink their life choices. Trapped in a crimson hellscape, the leader panics, desperately barking orders at his missing goons. Even in a nightmare, he's trying to flex his authority. Talk about an indestructible, toxic ego. Then, they turn around. Dead hollow eyes and blood-curdling screams. Shota hits the deck in terror. Those zombie faces are his new reality. He's stammering in fear, trapped deep inside a psychic prison. Shadowy tendrils erupt from the earth, binding him tight as he lets out one final soul-shattering scream. He gets a front-row seat to that monstrous, haunting eye. Then, just as quickly, the vision shatters. He's left wheezing on the concrete. Rooftop status, total annihilation. The bully squad is nothing but broken egos. Their leader is convulsing while his lackey looks haunted. One goon is out cold, snoring on the floor. Shota's brain is buffering, trying to compute the wrecking. The power gap between them is a literal abyss. His icy sweat says everything. He realized he poked a sleeping dragon. His minion blames it on. That weird slime, Puran. Linking Tashi's power to a double S-rank dungeon, Shota plots revenge instead of learning. He's digging up dirt to ruin Tashi. His crony suggests quitting, showing a rare flicker of survival instinct. But the leader doubles down, seeking any weakness. Meanwhile, the principal is vibing with Tashi's return. He's thrilled Tashi's back. But our hero keeps it real. He expects the principal to uphold the deal. Business concluded. Tashi hits the hallway. He tells Puran it's time to bounce and head home now. As they're ghosting, a voice echoes. Tashi turns to find Akazuki, locking eyes with him right there. She sprints over curious. While he explains the meeting, Nishiyama suddenly teleports into the conversation. Apparently, he's heard about Tashi. He flashes a smug smile, acting like a total local celebrity. Tashi's inner thoughts, instant hate. Akazuki, oblivious to the awkward vibes, is just hyped. She's thrilled they're schoolmates again, but Nishiyama's face goes dark. Not that she notices his mood. She's in fangirl mode. Seeing an opening, Nishiyama challenges Tashi to a duel right there. Tashi is left standing there, bewildered by this random declaration of war. Fast forward a few minutes. The trio hits a vacant classroom. Nishiyama's chosen weapon, an old-fashioned high-stakes arm wrestling match. The prize winning means he can officially pursue Akazuki, because apparently romance is a tournament now. Akazuki is blushing hard. He admits Tashi is strong, but arm wrestling is his secret specialty. Tashi locks in, getting serious. He thinks the guy is a weirdo, but strangely sincere. Nishiyama clarifies his feelings. He's tired of Akazuki constantly talking about our boy. Poor Akazuki is dying of embarrassment. This dude wants to earn the right to confess his heart. It's a bizarre honor system. Tashi's face turns to stone, ready for this absurd trial. Their hands finally grip knuckles white. The empty classroom becomes a makeshift arena. Our boy accepts the challenge, ready to put this rivalry to bed once and for all. Shifting gears at Akatsuki HQ, a board meeting is going up in flames. High-grade mana is hitting 0. Chairman Kazuma Akazuki sits at the helm, looking totally grim. Execs report top-tier dungeons are drying up. Kazuma orders them to scout fresh gates immediately, but it's not simple. His right-hand man reveals their elite hunters are all jumping ship. The room is pure chaos. Kazuma takes the loss, blaming himself for the corporate disaster. He looks totally defeated. His staff watches in terror before he suddenly snaps. He shouts to just throw money at it. A desperate move he immediately regrets. His greed backfired. Suddenly, he remembers that legendary flower Tashi is currently holding. Akazuki pivots instantly, announcing a new corporate philosophy trust over cash. The staff is shook. Employees are impressed by the boss's sudden glow-up. Alone in the room, the chairman's mask slips. Worries still haunt him despite the big speech. His mind drifts to the legendary Tashi. He thinks about the kid who flipped his world. A rare, genuine smile tugs at his lips. That boy is one of a kind. Suddenly, a phone vibration breaks the heavy silence. He answers, his mood lifting instantly while telling his wife he's heading to the hospital. She suggests a post-appointment udon date. Then she asks for a Tashi update. Kazuma explains the boy is swamped, so dinner is on hold. His wife is thrilled. She's already planning a massive home-cooked feast. Meanwhile, back in the classroom, the showdown begins. Tashi tells Piran to hang back with Akazuki. He's determined to win using pure strength. With the slime watching closely, the two rivals lock their grip tight and ready. Nishiyama asks Tashi what his victory prize will be. Tashi's gaze sharpens, ready to end this. He pauses, weighing the question for a heartbeat before standing firm. Nothing changes, his resolve is already set. Since Nishiyama is dead serious, Taishi vows to match that energy as they lock eyes in a fierce stare-down. Trapped between their clashing egos and intense rivalry, Akazuki's patience finally hits its absolute breaking point. She begs them to quit this cringe testosterone flexing. At her word, Taishi signals his rival to back off. Nishiyama snaps right back, telling his senior to drop it first. It's a complete deadlock of passive-aggressive politeness. Finally, Nishiyama yields, ending the duel before the first strike and calling a temporary truce for today. He claims it's for Akazuki's sake, insisting he's not scared, just being thoughtful, since Taishi wasn't prepared yet. This guy puffs his chest out about fair play, while Taishi thinks he's a total freak. Cut to the school grounds. Under a burning sunset, where the trio trudges along in the most agonizingly awkward silence imaginable. Akazuki is mentally screaming over this bizarre situation, while Nishiyama desperately tries to kill the tension. He asks if Taishi is back for good. Our MC confirms, teasing he can see Akazuki whenever, leaving her flustered. The rival sulks, realizing he'll see Taishi way too often now that he's always hanging around Akazuki. Brimming with confidence, Taishi challenges him to an arm wrestling match anytime. Observing his newfound spark, Akazuki realizes how much brighter Taishi seems. She's all smiles, leaning in close while Nishiyama fumes in the back. The commute home turns into an intimate moment for the two, leaving Nishiyama as the invisible third wheel. Stuck in a love triangle of his own making, the rival finally calls it a day and takes his leave. Taishi shouts for a proper rematch next time, leaving Akazuki totally confused, while Nishiyama waves back with a grin. He welcomes Taishi back, but our hero just thinks the guy is a massive weirdo. Purun's face says it all. Taishi claims he has a huge secret, only to drop a dinner invite from his mom. She happily accepts for Saturday. Purun is invited too. Taishi warns her about the slime's bottomless stomach, but she's totally unfazed. Deep down, Taishi resolves to be honest, admitting there's something far more important he needs to get off his chest. The sudden shift in energy leaves Akazuki breathless. Right then, out of nowhere, a mysterious blonde woman materializes from thin air, tackling Taishi into a crushing back hug and screaming how much she's missed him. He's completely shaken, having zero clue who this stranger is, all while the camera lingers on some very prominent assets. Our boy turns into a stammering, blushing disaster from the sudden physical contact. Akazuki's jealousy flares instantly, assuming he's been keeping secrets. Talk about the worst timing ever. She bolts for her ride, leaving Taishi frantically shouting that he's basically being held hostage by a maniac. This mystery woman ignores the drama, cooing over how much he's grown and calling him her little one. She asks if he missed her, but down on the ground, Purun is absolutely livid. The slime definitely knows her. She claims to be Norn goddess of the dungeon, as if that clarifies anything. Flashback to 6 years ago, to a chilling cave where a tiny furious slime glows with an ominous light. Its X-shaped mark pulses with malevolent energy when Norn appears, sporting horns this time, as she identifies the specific slime. The poor thing is trembling, dying in a sacred pool when Norn descends from the heavens like a true deity. She looks every bit a goddess, but her diagnosis is brutal. Keep this up and you're dead. The slime is terrified. Things look grim, it's afflicted by the Reaper's curse. Yeah, sounds like a total nightmare. Norn connects the dots, recognizing the child she met before. From her throne, she gazes down at the fading, feeble slime, naming it Purun as it begins to weep. She sighs, calling it hopeless like a disappointed mother. Suddenly her hands ignite with an overwhelming divine radiance. Enveloping Purun in a golden healing aura, she smiles gently, unleashing her magic and vowing to save the little one. Her touch meets the cursed slime, and with a blinding explosion of light, she begins purifying the corruption. Norn's voice echoes, praising Purun's strength and cuteness, as her aura spirals into a massive vortex of light, bestowing the dungeon goddess's blessing. Back in the present, Taishi is still trapped in a headlock, demanding answers. His brain completely short-circuits when she introduces herself as an actual, literal goddess. Below them, Purun is vibrating with pure, unbridled fury, which Norn finally manages to spot. With a look of mild surprise, she releases him, apologizing for the ambush in front of his special friend. Tashi's brain is currently buffering. He's desperately fighting to maintain a cool poker face. That stubborn blush refuses to fade. He's now questioning Purun's history with this literal deity. Norn smirks, asking if he named the slime. Tashi's social battery just hit 0. Telepathy. Seriously, she leans in, praising Purun's name with a touch of celestial sweetness. The slime's fury vanishes, instantly replaced by a simp-worthy blush. Norn prepares her next move. She's about to drop a truth bomb. Tashi looks like a deer in headlights. A heavy vibe settles in, but Tashi's too distracted by her literal god-tier visuals. She smirks, cutting his internal monologue. Pell, stop lurking, she commands the shadows. A shy, purple-haired girl peeks from behind a tree, looking totally stressed by the spotlight. She finally steps out, awkward as ever. Tashi's logic just crashed. Another person, out of nowhere. Purun is vibrating with excitement. Is this a long-lost slime bestie? Tashi is totally confused. The blob sparkles in confirmation. Their rider dies, Norn explains, but it's a whole saga. Tashi's happy for his little buddy. Then Norn claps, signaling it's time for real business. Her gaze turns icy and sharp. She demands total focus. Tashi and Purun are just lost. Norn immediately passes the mic to Pell. Truly top-tier management energy right there. Flashback. A horned Norn is cornered by a crying Pell, pleading for a life-or-death favor. Back to now, Norn shoves the trembling girl forward. Pell is physically shaking with anxiety. The pressure hits. We're all going to die if this keeps up, Pell finally shrieks. The sudden death flag leaves Tashi stunned. Norn just shrugs at their puny, mortal confusion. She pats Pell's head for that dramatic delivery, wearing the most chaotic, sly grin ever. Let's talk at my temple, she suggests. Tashi's only thought. Wait, is she taller now? She leads the way, casually demanding a transformation. Pell panics, but Norn doesn't take no. Transformation, Tashi's lost. Pell tells them to back up, her nerves reaching a fever pitch. Violent purple lightning erupts. Small, wicked black horns begin tearing through her forehead. Massive dark wings explode from her back. The shockwave sends Tashi and Purun flying. Tashi is catatonic from the shock. Purun, just a blushing, fangirling little blob of joy. Pell is now a legendary purple dragon. Norn just points. Behold the goddess Uber. Get in. They arrive at a terrifying cavern. Tashi's survival instincts are screaming bad idea already. Dragons are terrifyingly fast. Pell the jet dragon is absolutely shredding through the clouds. Tashi is screaming for his life while Purun is vibing. Our boy is officially traumatized. You're the bodyguard now, Tashi decides as Norn sticks a flawless, graceful landing. Norn smirks, announcing their arrival at a colossal temple carved into the very earth. Tashi's jaw drops. He knows this place. This is where Purun found the miracle flower. That healing plant was a gift from Norn. Tashi bows, offering his most sincere gratitude. She brushes it off, crediting the slime instead. Pell interrupts, ushering them toward the inner sanctum. They face massive, ornate gates. Classified info only, Pell warns. No leaks, no exceptions. Green mana flares in her palms. With a heavy groan, the mystical doors finally yield. Radiant light floods the hall. Norn strides into the abyss without a single shred of doubt. Pell follows closely. Tashi is sweating through his shirt, feeling completely out of his league. They navigate a torchlit corridor lined with flickering, ominous braziers. The atmosphere is suffocatingly heavy. Purin peeks out, curious about the spooky vibes. Tashi is just overwhelmed by the massive scale. He stands before a golden mural depicting an ancient war, his brain struggling to compute. Norn reveals the mural, tells of the dungeon's birth and another world. Tashi's mind simply snaps. Another world. He's glitching. Norn just finds his shocked expression totally main character cute. He stands frozen as the goddess prepares to unveil the forbidden lore of this strange realm. She immediately pivots the lore dump to a trembling Pell. Classic CEO energy. Pell's legend begins an eternity ago. It starts with the Forbidden Gate, a dimensional rift whispered to connect two realms and herald total annihilation. Though the masses across the Veil saw only a perfect utopia, a sanctuary promising freedom from every suffering. Naturally, that lie ignited a blood-soaked holy war, as everyone fought to seize the Golden Gateway. But paradise was a calculated trap, a masterfully orchestrated fabrication born from a fallen angel's malice. A master of puppets, he used his divine beauty to deceive the world into following his lead. It was all a prelude to global destruction. When his kin realized the betrayal, they finally acted. The heavens intervened, forging a massive dimensional prison to sever the connection between worlds forever. Guarded by apex monsters and divine warriors, the dungeon's birth caused the very foundation of existence to collapse. Back to reality. Pell stammers, revealing this dungeon was built as the final fortress against the darkness. Taishi's brain hits a blue screen trying to process this lore. Norn just grins, knowing he will understand soon. Super helpful, really. Her playful eyes suddenly turn ice cold as she drops the terrifying main point. Our protagonist recalls the grim, "you are both going to die" prophecy. But wait, there is one more detail. Norn drops the hammer. That fallen angel has been playing with his life for a long time. Taishi freezes in shock. He hasn't just been unlucky, he has been a target this entire time. Norn explains the attacks were indirect, systematically crushing his happiness. His parents were the first targets. The trauma reel rolls the school bullies, who made his life a living nightmare, followed next. The debt collectors making his life hell, and the shadow of his mother's mysterious soul-withering illness. Then a dark memory of his father recording his mother, a truly twisted and messed up betrayal. A pigtails girl gazes at the sky. Another one of his precious people caught in the angel's crosshairs. The weight of it all crushes Taishi. His knuckles turn white as he seethes with pure, unadulterated rage. Norn reveals his survival through this hell was a glitch in the angel's plan. He shouldn't be alive. Now the hunter becomes the prey. Norn's sharp gaze narrows onto the tiny, defenseless-looking slime. She calls out Purin. The little blob glares back with terrifying intensity, leaving Taishi completely baffled. He can't fathom how his buddy fits in. Pell hesitantly begins to bridge the gap for him. Purin is the dungeon's ultimate apex predator, and Taishi, he is the one holding the leash. Pell shivers, explaining that being bonded to the dungeon's strongest entity means something monumental has shifted. Taishi is the legendary first human to ever conquer this hellscape. The realization leaves him paralyzed. Inside, he is screaming into the void. The sheer magnitude of this revelation is world-shattering. Norn confirms the impossible. This place was designed to be unbeatable, yet they somehow cleared it. The fallen angel is coming for blood now, but she believes they finally have the power to fight back. Taishi stammers, trying to grasp what conquering actually implies. Norn shut down his questions immediately. A cold, definitive yes. Then she drops the real kicker: they are invading the other world. Rewind a few hours. The pigtails girl sits alone, haunted by a recent encounter with a boy. She spirals into self-doubt, wondering why seeing Yuzukura with another girl makes her blood boil with jealousy. Her driver asks if Lady Karen is all right. She masks her unease as the sun bleeds out ominously. They miss the massive dragon shadow eclipsing the car. Back to the present, Norn is all smiles. Their interdimensional journey is set. Taishi's brain short-circuits. He is actually going to war with an angel. Norn spouts some cryptic destiny talk, zero help for his anxiety. Taishi stands there, a hollow shell. Cold sweat drenches him as reality sets in. His eyes go dark with a grim warrior's resignation. Norn softens, acknowledging that this is an insane burden for a regular high school kid to carry. Purin nudges his cheek, a tiny gesture of loyalty that pulls Taishi back from the emotional brink. The promise to protect his companion blazes in his heart. His fighting spirit is finally back online. He slams his fist into his palm, telling Norn he is in. He is ready for war. Pell watches with a mix of worry while Norn smirks. His unbreakable determination is all they really need. Pell frantically tries to bribe him, promising treasures await. But Tashi is naturally struggling to believe any of it until the ultimate prize is revealed. Get stronger and decode Purin. Tashi's brain is still glitching over that revelation, and Pell clarifies he cannot hear Purin quite yet. The level gap is just too massive. Plus, here is another wild fact. Purin is actually an out-of-worlder. The thought of finally speaking to his buddy has him completely hooked. Our boy is officially 100% sold. This is the ultimate grind motivation. Seeing he's on board, Norn immediately commands Pell to begin the ritual, dragging him down the corridor for this insane journey. Pell gets incredibly flustered shyly, asking his master to hold hands, and Tashi just rolls with it. Nothing about today has been normal. He takes her hand and a blinding surge of energy erupts. This magic flares as Pell channels raw power into him. Norn bestows her official goddess blessing, guiding him toward his destiny. A tidal wave of power crashes over Tashi, who looks ready. Then everything bleaches white. His eyes snap open, and suddenly he is back in his tiny apartment. Asking Purin about dinner, he is just doing chores like a regular person, a total mental whiplash. Reflecting on how much his life has shifted since that crazy day, a system window suddenly pops. Confirming a skill transfer from Norn herself, he is now the Otherworld gate opener. Norn just grins. To use whenever he's ready. Tashi ponders his new will-guided skill, still trying to process everything. But one look at his stats kills the vibe. He's only level 5. His gaze falls on Purin, chilling on the kotatsu, the perfect little blob. Clutching his buddy, he finds his burning motivation again. He must grow stronger for both their sakes. Purin gives him the most determined, adorable slime face, which solidifies Tashi's resolve to power up at any cost. Suddenly, the rice cooker beeps, which signals more system shenanigans are coming. He pulls up his status screen, fixating on that new gate opener title. What if he just touches it? A detailed skill description pops. He can literally summon a gate. Tashi just stares, asking Purin if any of this is actually real. The slime responds with a hyped pyru. It's totally ready. Seeing his friend hyped, Tashi decides they need a good night's rest before the big adventure. What follows is the most wholesome preparation montage, starting with brushing teeth together, followed by a relaxing bath complete with matching head towels. He even tucks his squishy buddy into bed, giving Purin a little snuggle before they drift off. The little guy is vibrating with pure, unadulterated happiness. They fall into a shimmering dreamscape, just two best buds against the universe. Then they wake in a dark, creepy dungeon. So much for beauty sleep. Tashi wakes up disoriented, and Purin is just as terrified, when a massive wall suddenly ignites in front of them, bathing our boy in a blinding, almost painful golden radiance. Purin looks ready for a brawl as Tashi realizes it's an ancient mural. This mural depicts a very sad little slime, Purin's twin, and a terrifying ram monster charging right at it. The monster brutally headbutts the tiny slime, which causes Tashi to absolutely freak out for his buddy. The mural slime goes flying from the impact, triggering a memory of when he first saved Purin. All happy and safe. Back in reality, poor Purin is sobbing on the floor, clearly reliving some horrific trauma from its past. This mural continues, showing the slime starting to splinter. Tashi reaches out, begging for it to stop. But the image shows the slime shattering completely, a nightmare. Our boy feels every second of his friend's pain tears streaming down his face during the vision. Then sunlight finally streams through a window. It was all a dream. Tashi is still trapped, muttering for Purin not to leave him. Suddenly we cut to a massive skyscraper shifting the scene. A cheerful blonde with pigtails announces she's heading out, but her mother immediately asks if she's checked Tashi's schedule for her restless father. The girl gets a bit flustered, promising she will ask him today, shuffling her feet awkwardly. With a hurried goodbye, she's finally on her way. The scene shifts to Tashi's humble apartment complex, a major downgrade. Our boy finally wakes up, looking completely drained from that dream. He asks Purin if he was awake, who just stares back intently. He strokes his tiny companion, confessing a nightmare's gloom. Yet Purin's presence instantly dissolves his sorrow. Such a wholesome vibe. Suddenly his phone vibrates. Who could be hitting him up this early? It's Akazuki. She's asking to visit. Tashi's mind loops on those two simple words. Before the panic peaks, she's coming over today. Outside, the sun paints the city in gold. Tashi trudges home with groceries. He realizes these quiet, mundane days are reaching their final countdown. He recalls Pell's radiant expression. She was overjoyed that he'd finally accepted the quest. Meanwhile, Tashi and Purin were just lagging, completely stunned by those two literal goddesses. Fast forward, the duo is scouting. A car pulls up and a familiar voice rings out. It's her, Akazuki. She was headed to his place, but he's already thinking about dinner. Hot pot for everyone. Her face glows. Instant sparkles. This just got incredibly awkward. Tashi decides to drop the truth. His expression shifts, catching her off guard with sudden intensity. Then he chokes. You first, he stammers. A total tactical retreat. But Akazuki isn't playing. She reflects the energy right back. It's a legendary battle of no, after you politeness. They're paralyzed by social anxiety. Eventually, they migrate their awkward tension to a park bench. After a heavy silence, Akazuki breaks. She apologizes for her sudden outburst the other day. Tashi fumbles, insisting it's fine, but she's determined to own her chaotic energy. She admits acting like a brat. Now she's beaming, just happy to finally be talking. This pure sincerity fries Tashi's brain. He just mumbles back, staring intensely at the pavement. Suddenly courage surges. Tashi prepares to reveal everything. Akazuki is stunned by his sudden heat. The emotional floodgates burst open. He spills the entire insane truth about the other world. Silence hangs heavy on the bench. Finally, Akazuki nods. She understands the whole impossible story. He's shook. You actually believe me, she smiles. Of course she does. She trusts him. Our boy is baffled. Why the certainty? Because she confesses she's been watching him all along. Total shoujo peak. This revelation hits like a truck. Tashi's soul has officially left his body. Puran, the ultimate wingman, cheers them on. They sit there together as the sun dips lower. The atmosphere shifts. Akazuki stands up, eyes burning with newfound fire. She exhales a massive sigh. A giant weight just evaporated. Tashi stays frozen, barely able to even whisper her name. She turns back, her gaze sharp enough to cut. It's go time. Then, she drops the bombshell. She's joining him in the other world. Tashi's brain blue screens. Puran's face is pure. Excuse me. He's struggling to compute. Take her where, but her resolve is iron. She means every word. He tries to explain it's no vacation. Instead, she closes the distance, invading his space. This isn't a game. He sputters about the enemy. We're talking about a literal fallen angel. It's a death-defying existence. Far too perilous for her to even dream of joining. That's exactly why she's going. She grips his hand tightly. Flawless, undeniable logic, really. He was her pillar before. Now she's going to be the one holding him up. This heartfelt vow melts Tashi instantly. But she's not done. She knows exactly what's at stake. This isn't some impulse. She knows he's hesitant, but she's got a secret set of skills. To help the mission, obviously. Tashi just stares, floored by her sheer, unyielding earnestness. Then she turns shy. She reveals her big secret: she's a massive, hardcore dungeon nerd. A total monster geek. We see her mom scolding her for turning her room into research HQ. She's been training her whole life. The obsession is too thrilling to quit. Tashi is speechless. He realizes she's legit. She's actually more prepared than he is, having studied this for years. Relief washes over him. He won't be alone. Akazuki's eyes sparkle with pure, unadulterated hype. Puran chirps in approval. Their bond is hardening. The path ahead finally looks a little brighter. They agree to meet at dawn. Preparation starts now. They're ready for whatever that world throws. She looks stunned, remembering the dungeon tales her dad read her. It feels like destiny is finally calling her name. She swears she won't ever slow him down. But Tashi still looks unsure, his mind racing with all the potential risks. He points out that he's alone, while she has a whole family to lose. She just nods, calmly, accepting his heavy words. After promising to discuss it with them, the tension vanishes. She suddenly pivots, inviting him over for a cozy hot pot dinner. Tashi's brain completely short-circuits at the invite. Meanwhile, she's just glowing, absolutely thrilled that her plan is coming together perfectly. Turns out her house is a literal luxury skyscraper. They head inside for a high-stakes dinner with her very wealthy, intimidating parents. Things feel deceptively normal for 5 minutes. Then the duo drops the otherworld bombshell, right in the middle of dinner. Her father's gaze turns ice-cold, piercing right through Tashi. Our boy is shaking, feeling the crushing weight of billionaire parental pressure. He starts roasting Tashi for keeping such massive secrets. Then just as suddenly the storm passes and he settles back down. Realizing the dungeon's true difficulty, Akatsuki's dad turns deadly serious. He leans in his aura, shifting to pure business. This intel could trigger absolute global anarchy if leaked. Tashi just sits there, shrinking under the tycoon's overwhelming predatory glare. Suddenly the man explodes into laughter. He starts geeking out over dungeon lore, while his family stares in total secondhand embarrassment. After a quick, hilarious apology for his nerd moment, he flips the switch. It's time to get back to the real issue. He asks Akatsuki if she's truly 100% ready. She steps into the light, her eyes burning with unshakable resolve. "I'm all in," she declares. Mom looks perfectly peaceful, but Dad looks like he just took a physical blow to the gut. He finally gives in, realizing he can't stop her. But he has one non-negotiable demand before she sets foot outside. "You must lean on this family for everything." If Tashi promises to protect her, the old man won't stand in their way. Akatsuki is moved to tears by his support. Caught off guard, Tashi can only stammer out a clumsy promise to keep her safe. Now that he's convinced the dad is hyper-fixated, he even grabs Tashi, looking ready to devote everything to the cause. He announces the Akatsuki group will bankroll their entire operation. Her mom adds that this is just a small token of gratitude. They owe him for saving her life after all. The family is now a freight train of support, completely steamrolling our poor protagonist. Right then, Tashi's phone starts buzzing. It's a call from Mr. Tatsumi. He picks up, looking dazed by the sudden interruption. On the line is the chef holding a legendary dungeon sea bream. He mentions a surprise reservation opening at the restaurant. He invites the crew for dinner, promising even Purion will leave satisfied. Because clearly the man knows exactly what he's doing. Tashi tries to play it cool and decline since they just ate. But Purion, the little monster, is literally sparkling with hunger. His eyes literally glisten with a primal craving for that dungeon sea bream. He cracks a faint smile, utterly powerless against such a charming face. He queries Master Tatsumi about bringing extra guests. When asked if they are just comrades, the old man looks curious. Tashi shoots a mischievous smirk while glancing back at Akatsuki and her folks. The entire table erupts in warm, wholesome laughter. Basking in the joy of the moment, Tashi drops the ultimate smooth line. They aren't just friends, they are family. Boom! They vanish instantly, reappearing in a brutal wasteland. Akatsuki takes her first legendary stride into this scorching new realm. Then, instant faceplant. What a majestic start to her epic journey. Tashi, ever the hero, lunges forward to save her. He rushes to check for injuries. Grabbing his hand, she blames the uneven dunes for her total lack of grace. She then requests he use her first name Karen from now on. Our main character's face turns beet red instantly. Admitting this new level of intimacy will take time, he regains composure. Together they will conquer whatever lies ahead. Karen radiates pure shoujo energy. However, Tashi's expression darkens as he scans the endless desolate horizon surrounding them. He sighs because she expected a vibrant fantasy paradise, not this infinite soul-crushing sea of sand. Rewind 2 hours. Divine beings tear open a portal, sensing something profound. One goddess notes the weight of the situation. Tashi and Karen's destinies are cosmically bound. Since that is the absolute law of the universe, there is no turning back. Resigned to fate, she unleashes the gate. Calling out Karen's name, she bestows a divine miracle upon the girl. A secret power to protect Tashi. Fast forward to the present, a violent sandstorm is suddenly swallowing the world whole. Karen struggles to see through the stinging grit, lost in the chaos. Tashi firmly grips her through the blinding storm. They need immediate cover. Tashi looks at Purion with a genius plan: utilize the slime cannon for long-range scouting. Purion is hyped. Giving a tiny determined thumbs up, the slime bounces into a tactical launch position on the ground. The strategy: Tashi literally stomps on it. Absolute peak engineering. Yeet Purion rockets into the stratosphere at high velocity. The slime soars through the clouds like a living projectile. Tashi immediately realizes he might have used way too much force. Pyron rockets into the stratosphere like a golden bullet, vanishing into the blinding solar glare. Down below, Tashi tracks the tiny speck as it begins its high-velocity plummet back to the world. A lethal projectile screaming through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. Our brave scout returns home with a bang, slamming directly into Tashi's face with a satisfying gooey splat that covers him completely. Karen is absolutely losing it, wheezing as she tries to hold back a laughing fit at the ridiculous display. Once peeled off his forehead, Pyron gestures toward their target. Tashi wonders if the little guy actually discovered anything legendary up there. He gives the slime a massive squeeze for his hustle. Talk about wholesome. With fresh determination, the squad is ready to roll. Tashi signals the team to move out following the path, Pyron charted, as everyone gets totally hyped. The desert heat is brutal as they trek toward a solitary withered tree standing like a tombstone in the distance. Karen hits a wall, admitting she is totally gassed. Tashi agrees. This endless sea of sand is a total energy drain. Suddenly, Pyron's expression shifts to pure aggression. Tashi tenses up, wondering what has triggered his scout's battle mode. And then, they see it. A pack of hellish demonic hyenas surrounds them, before Tashi can even process the threat. Those fiery beasts lunge with terrifying speed. Tashi reacts instantly, shouting for the slime bullet protocol to be engaged. Pyron locks in, transforming into a lethal weapon. He launches a single high-speed projectile right from Tashi's arm. The shot strikes the leader's chest before bouncing like a deadly pinball, wiping out the entire pack in a blink. Only a heap of monster corpses remains in the dunes. Tashi quickly checks on Karen, acting like a total gentleman. Karen is stunned by Pyron's raw, destructive power, while our little slime is just vibing, totally proud of his work. But her mood sours, questioning why those beasts would strike with such sudden, mindless ferocity. A guttural noise echoes from the nearby crags. Tashi immediately drops into a combat stance, his eyes narrowing for round 2. He realizes the fight isn't over. There are still shadows moving in the dust and debris. Karen suddenly shouts for him to stop, pointing at a small broken figure collapsed on the scorched earth. They dash toward the survivor, discovering a child with jagged, bloody claw marks tearing through her leg. Karen cradles the little beast girl, her voice trembling. These wounds are lethal, and her breath is fading fast. They need cover immediately. The poor girl is clinging to life, her breathing shallow as the world begins to fade. As she lies limp in Karen's arms, Tashi suggests treating her here, but Karen insists they have to move now. Suddenly, the girl's eyes flutter open. Tashi jumps, surprised she even has the strength to wake up. He tells her to take it easy and conserve her energy. She tries to speak, but only a ghostly whisper escapes. With her remaining strength, she begs for water. Karen urgently signals Tashi to move his tail and help. He dives into his dimensional storage and pulls out a regular plastic water bottle. Talk about peak isekai vibes. The girl looks relieved as Karen gently helps her sip the life-saving liquid, but she starts chugging it like she has been stranded for a year. Tashi just stands there processing the scene. He is still wrapping his head around the catgirl situation when she finally begins to stir her eyes opening. Karen asks if she is okay, but the girl's pupils dilate in pure terror. Humans. Her nails transform into lethal talons. She lunges straight for Tashi's throat, leaving Karen screaming in horror. Caught completely off guard, Tashi wipes his brow. That strike was way too close for comfort. The little beast girl is crouched like a predator, looking absolutely feral. Tashi can feel her aura turning hostile. She snarls, demanding to know what these humans are doing in her sacred territory. Tashi shields Karen, telling her to stay back. This girl might look human, but she is pure danger. A high-stakes standoff begins in the middle of this wasteland, neither side willing to back down. Tashi tries to de-escalate, while mentally preparing the Aegis of Pyron to keep Karen safe from harm. Her ears twitch as the word water cuts through her rage. He holds out another bottle as a peace offering. The ultimate peace treaty in a desert. She is shaking with thirst, barely maintaining her feral guard. We get a cinematic shot of that holy water bottle. Her ears perk up at the sound of the cap clicking. Driven by pure desperation, she chooses survival over pride and starts downing the water with wild intensity. It is like she has never seen liquid before. Seconds later, empty bottles are scattered across the sand. A 5-star review for the divine water. Tashi and Karen watch as the feral cat girl finally finds peace. Now fully hydrated and behaving like a proud parent, she formally apologizes for her earlier attempt to murder them. But Tashi, the ultimate gentleman, insists her wounds are the priority. This sends the beast girl into a total panic. She begs him not to waste precious water. He refuses, vowing her recovery matters most while searching for another solution. His gaze locks onto his secret multi-tool Purin. Tashi turns to the wobbly little companion with a serious request. Can you handle medical duty? Purin flashes a confident, heroic grin, ready for its new promotion to squad medic. Latching onto her back to initiate slime-based first aid, Purin locks in and begins the healing process immediately. Activating holy healing powers, its unique ability dissolves the corruption to seal the shredded flesh in an instant. The beast girl gapes in awe as her injuries vanish. Tashi watches on, looking like one incredibly proud slime dad. After praising Purin for the clutch play, he tells Karen it is time for some classic, old-school medical attention, which apparently requires a tactical deployment of bandages and medical supplies.